Everything I spit rare, we sounded that great. Area podcast, they talk about hip hop all the way in the UK, so they gon' get props. Ooh, let me catch it once again. Every time I'm spitting, I be making people.
I just want Griselda to teach us our ABCs.
A
Okay.
is for
Hey, yo.
B is for
The butcher, nigga.
C is for
Cocaine paid my mama bill.
D is for E is for
Eastern Conde 4, nigga.
F is for G is for
Griselda.
H is for I is for
I love you, bitch.
J is for
Just that nigga, I ain't have to get a drunk.
K is for
King in New York, nigga.
L is for
Lemon squeeze, lemon squeeze.
M is for
Machine, bitch.
N is for
19.
O is for P is for
5X, I wanna thank you.
Q is for
Quarantine, I did not spend. I do not got friends.
R is for S is for
Yours with the fully automatic.
T is for
Talk to 'em.
U is for
You ever ate burgers on Wednesday? You ever ate chicken on Thursday?
V is for
Virgil White brick on my brick.
W is for
Westside Pootie.
X is for
Extra straps, extra clips laying on the seat.
Y is for
Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it.
Z is for
Add a few more zeros or them numbers is inaccurate. Griselda.
There we go. Now we know how to say our ABCs with Griselda. I expect to be, hopefully.
I'm glad Benny got that last one in because I was about to say he was only in there once. So it was more Conway and Westside.
Hopefully that lifted everyone's mood because it made me laugh when I was looking through like all the
That was great.
all the content the other day, and I saw this on the side. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" So hopefully that lifted everyone, got everyone in the mood.
Whoever made that deserves an award.
Trust me.
Give them a grey area award. We'll shout them out. Right, so this episode, I don't really understand how we're doing it. It's 2 reviews in one, or is it like a Griselda appreciation where we talk about the latest projects? I'm kind of a bit... I understand, and I don't want to say anything in the group.
Spoon feeder Sean.
You not got the run through?
Yeah, I do, but I'm just kind of a bit like, how do we review 2 albums in one? I'm not understand. I you know what I mean?
I'm doing it
casual
integrated
general-
review, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll guide us through. Don't worry, I'll do the because I haven't got a ton to say today, but
Yeah, you do.
I'll guide us through.
Boom, 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 boom.
That one especially for Sean. I know he loves that. Right, go on, Sean. Get us kicked off.
This is a new one for us because not only are we doing 1 review, we're doing 2, but at the same time we're, I guess, dabbling in our Discog discussion bag where we're celebrating, not just one artist but several, a crew, which is Griselda. I think the best way to kick it off is to talk about how we all were introduced to them. So does anyone want to start? Like, what was your first experience with Griselda?
I never wanted to listen to them because I didn't know who they were. Like, I heard something about some of them getting signed to Eminem's label like a couple years ago, and then one of you lot was like, "Oh, one of them's dropped a project, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Who is that?" And you're like, "Oh, you don't know about Griselda?" I'm like, "Yeah, Griselda Blanca." I'm like, you guys are like, "No, it's a group." I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm being like 100% honest. I think it was Pray for Paris was the first thing I actually listened to, which isn't a bad starting point. But from what I understood, they were well underway. Like, started way before that with bangers. And I went back and I was like, "Oh shit, these guys are pretty hard." But yeah, Pray for Paris. So just at the top of the pandemic. So 2020, fairly new in the Griselda archives.
The first time we ever did a Zoom call, because that's how this whole thing started, and it was our Zoom chats on during the pandemic. The first ever thing we spoke about was Pray for Paris.
I checked that out as well the other day. That was funny listening back to that. But my first introduction had to be what was it? So it was It was the plugs I met from Benny, and it was what's the name called now? I'm flopping the set. Oh, that's it, Crown for Kings, when it was featuring Black Thought, and I was like, oh, who's this? That was the first time I was introduced to Benny first, and I was like, yeah, and just noticed that he was part of Griselda, and then it was you, Sean, that then just plugged me up to Conway, because then I listened to the Lulu EP because it was produced by Alchemist. And then I was fully dialed in. After I listened to Conway and I listened to that, I was fully dialed in. Then I wanted to listen to everything that they were about. Then it was Pray for Paris. Like I said, Benny and Conway, especially them two, was just plugged in. Just thought they had something about them.
Trust. I think it was Sean that sent me plugs I met, right?
It has to be.
I didn't discover that myself. I'm sure I didn't.
Yeah,
it would have been Sean because
and that Pusha T feature, that track, that got me. Like that song is so disgusting. The beat chills me. So there was that. Lulu, I liked, but I think because I liked Benny more, I was like, cool. Conway can rap and soul, but I'm not into it yet. But I think. Why did we even all listen to Pray for Paris?
We had nothing to do. Like, the world was closed. We were just inside.
Yeah, the world was closed. Their movement was like massive at this point. So it's 2020 at this point, and we knew it was like a high profile one. Like there was a lot of features and stuff. So it was like, how can we not tap in at this point?
Yeah, I think I kind of pushed that one on you lot. I think,
because
like Sam said, there was nothing really else to talk about at that time. I'm glad we did because it's a great album.
My first, before, I think it was just before Pray for Paris, like the lead up to it, I was trying to listen to Griselda, like not knowing anything at all. I was so confused. Like I couldn't tell who was who because like Benny and Conway, they're not that different actually, and like in their group tracks, it can blend a little. I don't know, man. I was just so confused when I was listening to Griselda when it first started.
No, I ain't gonna lie. It's
so
the same
I first
for me.
I first heard Griselda. I think it might have been 2017. Sorry, heard of them because they signed, Conway and Westside signed to Shady. And I think it was like a distribution deal or something like that. So I checked them out and whatever was out at the time didn't click with me. So I didn't really go back. And then end of 2018, Dead End Hip Hop did their best album list. And they all, or pretty much all of them, had Tana Talk 3. And so I was like, oh, who's this Benny the Butcher? And then I found out he was Griselda as well. And then the first project I really tapped into was Plugs, the first one. And that's when I started like sharing that with various people. I feel like 2019, that same year, Benny and maybe Westside signed a management deal with Rock Nation too. So that was in the news. And then by the end of that year, you had the Griselda compilation. So they were pretty much, they were underground speaking, the biggest thing at that time. And then 2020 I would say with like Lulu and Pray for Paris is when I would like say I was a fan at this point. And since then I've just followed everything that they've done.
Makes total sense. That Sean is the person, he's the plug that we met.
He's the plug.
I just distinctly remember it was around the group chat when it started. That's when I actually proper locked into Griselda, but I'd heard about them before. I mean, it must have been through Sean because before 2020, there was really no way to find them. No one was talking about them, which is a bit sus. Like, because they're not underground, really. I think they're just not from a major place, and they're not shouting about what they're doing. They're just doing what they're doing and dropping a lot of work. I feel like it's like every year, at least 2 out of the 3 of the main of them have dropped a project or an album, which is just insane output.
Now, this is the funny thing though. During lockdown, from Pray for Paris, which was a good note to start us off from, they're releasing like monthly or something. Like it got so intense.
It became overwhelming.
They released hella albums.
It did like solidify us being fans though, right? Because then Burden of Proof came out, and it was like I think that was all of our album of the year actually for 2020.
Could be. I'm not sure.
It wasn't yours, Sam. Actually, Sam's was Pray for Paris, but
yeah,
I feel like it was.
No, I want to say that I had From King to a God higher than Burden of Proof.
I don't think you did, Theo.
Did I not?
I don't know.
No,
I think we all
remember.
definitely had Burden high though, right?
I think on initial listen, Theo, you preferred Burden, but I swear when we did our best albums of the year, I think you said that Conway's grew on you more. Because me and you were the same. When we, for whatever reason, it didn't hit. And then
it didn't hit the first time. Yeah, it definitely didn't hit the first time. I just
Yeah,
thought,
yeah.
it's all right. And then every time I listened to it, that grew massively. I thought it was a solid, it's just really, really good project.
It's just mad
So
the
what,
quality that they had. That was what kind of impressed me about Pray for Paris. I was like, who the fuck is this? Because all I'd heard about realistically, like feature-wise off the album was people I already knew, and then the Boldy James. And I was like, who's these guys that Boldy James is co-signing? It's the other way around. They're co-signing Boldy James. And then in all this, and in all this research I did after, like, not after, but like last year, I was like, oh, Matt Conway was signed to them for a bit, and all this and all that. So I'm like, oh, they're high quality, like, they're high quality rappers, and they're all related. Well, not related, but like, you know, Conway and what's his name, Westside Brothers, and Benny's the cousin. So I'm a bit like, this is a very rare thing to occur in a family unit. Is, you know, three really really high level rappers.
And rest in peace, Machine Gun as well, because that was the other brother who passed away, wasn't it? So it could have been 4. Imagine that. Jesus. So what are our, you know, we've mentioned a few albums and whatnot. What are our sort of highlight Griselda moments? I mean, a couple. Had to go in. I mean, that is my number one. The beginning of that Rap Radar interview is hilarious, man. Like, I feel like Elliot Wilson wants to start a couple of times, but he just can't get in because Westside just keeps on going. Couple things for me is, I don't know if anyone's ever seen it. They performed, is it Dr. Birds off the compilation? They performed that on Jimmy Fallon. And it was one of those ones where you just know that everyone in that audience, this is not their cup of tea. Like, this is not their type of music. You know what I mean? Like, and they're just, it's the grimiest stuff you can possibly imagine. Love that. And Fire in the Booth as well. Griselda on Fire in the Booth is a moment.
Yeah, Charlie just looked shook, didn't he?
That's how you feel, yeah? Like ducking from bullets.
On something that day. He was aggy.
Oh, man.
And they all looked massive as well.
Yeah, they are. They
all
look
got baggy
big.
Clothes on that, but
they did. They look big. It's just Charlie's face just cracked me up, man. He just looked hella shook, hella shook. But Benny and Conway just went off though. They went into some different zone though. But when they just start rapping on, it's just ridiculous. It's like they're staring into the mic, and that is it, and they just go off.
Mine's when Benny was on. I want to say it's not Power 106. The one with Ebro and all that. He was on there.
97.
Yeah, I think he was on there, and it's not really that interesting. Like, as in, it's not like I'm talking about. Oh, I really loved it because he rapped for. His jewelry was just mad fucking blinging. Like, it was just fucking shining, like in a crazy way. I was like, nah, this guy's sick. Like, I've never seen anyone's jewelry moving like that. I was like, all these other guys got fucking stones in their neck. This guy's got pure, all that shit that rappers rap about, like pure water. Like, never seen jewelry like that in my life. So, yeah,
that's the thing. That's like their essence, though. They flaunt like they've already made it, like they're already goats, and I just buy into that. But one of my favorite moments is Conway performing The Cow, and I'm sure he's crying in that. I can't remember exactly, but
I think he does.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Sean? That performance is crazy, so crazy. I feel like they hug him. I think they hug him mid-verse because it's like it's so deep.
That was the one thing you guys kept going on and on about, and I didn't understand what that meant, because you guys would literally be saying Conway, the cow, and I'm like, is that like what he calls himself and blah blah blah? But I found
it's
out
like a 2-3 minute verse of Conway. So he did in 2015 as well. So it's like this is before Griselda even were popping.
Yeah,
it's mad. It's mad.
Yeah, he really poured it. It's like he knew that was his moment. Because that was that on Fly God, the first Fly God album.
Yeah, it's so long ago, honestly.
It's incredible. One of the best verses of the decade, at least. I mean, other than that, I guess, you know, there was that kind of string of projects, like between Plugs and Pray for Paris, Lulu, as we mentioned, Conway's first album, Burden of Proof. I guess like 2020 was just a moment in itself, that year that they had. I feel like Conway dropped 3 projects. Benny maybe just dropped the one with Burden of Proof. Westside had at least 2. It was just
Sean, there was even La Machina and Plugs 2 the year after.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
2021. Yeah,
they were the only people dropping not last year. Sorry,
Westside Gunn's double album.
They were like, we don't care if it's a pandemic. We got way more stuff.
Don't forget Pyrex Picasso as well. That is underrated, man.
Yeah, just.
I don't know why they felt like it was okay.
A bit, then. Let's talk about Westside, because and that album especially, Kieran, because I feel like the Hitler Wears Hermes series is a bit of a classic, really. But
Yeah.
that final installment is a
What
bit
a way
special,
to
right?
end it, right? Like, because the first part, side A, is like sick, and I thought that was all it was.
Side A is
He
fire.
goes and drops side B, and it's like it's definitely better. There's better features in it. You got that one with Tyler, the fly who can't fly straight, and it's just like this incredible music. And we listen to them back to back, both albums as well. It's crazy. Like that could be the best Griselda album, arguably.
I listen to Hitler Wears Hermes side B quite a lot, and I forget there's a side
Mad,
A.
innit?
Yeah,
J
that's the
Electronica on it
yeah,
as well.
that is the maddest thing though. You are right, because side A, I was rocking with that, especially with
It's
Stove
hard.
God, because Stove God, it just was killing it on every feature he was doing. And then side B comes out, and I'm like, how the hell is this just got even better? Because then I'm just listening to that a lot more than side A. I'm like, what is going on? It's just quality music.
I wonder
We
how
have to
they get
give,
to this though. How do they get? Because I understand that they've been rapping for a long time, but it's like I don't know what it is, but the feeling of their music is different to everyone else's.
Apparently, it's Westside's formula, right? And you hear it in his projects. Like his beat selection is definitely the best out of all of them. Like especially on the Hitler Wears Hermes 8, both of those projects, the way the beats flow and like just the luxury sounds, and he knows when to do like beatless ones and then like those heavy dusty ones. It's sick.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, I don't think anybody could get on these beats the same way that he has, and the rest of them do. It's like some of the beats they have are like it's like new old school grimy stuff, like what Earl gets on, but like their own separate vibe of it. And it's like, is it really fair to call this the underground music when I think in the future this could be the mainstream sound? Is like, you know, that fusion of all what's good about hip hop.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll probably get onto it a bit later on, but there's other artists, one in particular that kind of kept this music alive for a period where, you know, street rap wasn't really a thing. I mean, not a thing, but that it was, you know, very much underground. And Griselda kind of have, you know, I guess taken that sound and ran with it, and are really the sort of spearhead of this kind of movement that we've had over the last few years. And yeah, we have to give Westside his flowers, because I feel like, yes, you know, the majority don't hold him up there on the same levels when it comes to the rapping, but in terms of his curation and his artistic vision,
He curated all of Pray for Haiti, and like that was like topping all of our lists last year. That album's incredible.
I think it's one of those ones as well. No offense to him, but nobody likes his voice. His voice is a bit jarring to some people. I don't know who said it before. Someone said it before. They don't like how high pitched his voice is.
It was me, because I couldn't fuck with his voice whatsoever.
It's unique,
fine.
though.
It's fine now, but
I think that's a common thing, though, isn't it?
now.
But it's a common thing, isn't it?
Love it.
Because it is jarring. But do you know where it works best is when the three of them are on a track together.
His voice cuts differently with those two.
Some of the sounds he makes are a bit jarring though. Like when he starts whining and stuff, I'm a bit like,
yeah, man. That's what I mean. But I've grown to love it now. But just some of it just When you've never heard the guy before, and then he's doing all this, I'm like, oh, please, man.
Boom, 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 boom.
he's good though. I give him that. And to be fair, I think Westside's got the best features out of everyone.
You mean like when he jumps on people? What are you talking about, Sam?
He's got the best features. Like he's got out of like on all these projects, he's got features from just mad people.
Oh yeah, I think because he's the curator, isn't he? He knows who to pull that will work on a song. I feel like he does that for their projects too, but I don't think they've got that eye like he does.
Well, we're still waiting on that Benny.
He's like RZA, but not toxic, innit?
Oh, that's.
I'm not even saying. I'm not. Yeah, like, I'm just being real. Like there was something toxic about that whole RZA control freak thing and Wu-Tang Clan, innit?
I don't even know what's going on.
Why do you think they're all pissed off?
Before we get into the meat and the reviews and that, are there any other members of Griselda we want to talk about? Because there's people that have come and come back again.
Matt Conway, man. We need
Shout
to
out
give
Matt
that guy his
Conway.
flowers.
Like this guy's one of
Guy
the best
is real.
rappers right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Baldy James, is he part of them? I don't understand if he's part of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think with Matt Conway, Matt Conway's been around for a long time, and you know, in recent years, he's starting to finally get his flowers. But he he was in Griselda early and then left because he had a beef with Westside, right? And they recently reconciled. So there's a bit of backstory there. Boldy is again someone that was well established in the underground, and then 10 years into his career has signed with them, and it's just one of those ones where I think it makes sense, especially after the stuff he's been doing with the Alchemist. Like it's just right in that lane.
Well, it's just easier if they're all in the same room together all the time. You know what I mean? Like Alchemist, them, and that Derringer guy.
Yeah, shout out Darren.
Yeah, he's
big up Darren.
He's fire, man. Big that guy up.
He's like the modern day RZA.
Jeez.
Ooh, copying what's his name?
Conway says that. Conway says that in one of his songs, yeah. And then slices him up with like scissors or something. Yeah.
This is Inception, isn't it? I'm just saying it, thinking it's my own thought, but
In your head.
The bars cut that deep. You know who I'm gonna say?
Oh, Marciano. Rock Marciano.
No. Rock Marcy's not in Griselda, but Rock Marcy deserves a lot of credit for the sound that Griselda and a lot of other guys are making today. But Stove God Cooks.
Oh,
he's part of Griselda as well.
He is.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he was his own person.
That man. No, I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he was his own thing, man. Give that.
And he's been around a little while too.
He's so weird though. Some of the things he said is so weird.
I don't care. This guy can rap, man.
No, he's sick. But some, like I was saying, I think it's. I don't know if he ever has the potential to make it big, because some of what he says will go over people's head, because it's like.
I personally haven't connected with him like the other ones you mentioned.
That's what I'm saying.
Like he's in the same boat as Boldy
Man,
for me.
You need to connect with this guy, man.
It's about time.
Nah, some of what he says
his
is
features though on the Westside project, them features
And
are
the
mad.
ad-libs.
I agree.
And the ad libs, man. Chase.
His album,
Gasses me.
his album made my top 5 in 2020.
Yeah, that was
It
odd.
made my
Reasonable
top
Drought.
5 because
I don't know where that
wasn't
came
odd.
from.
Reasonable Drought.
Nah,
is
it wasn't.
hard.
It wasn't odd.
Is that on
It made
Spotify
mine.
though?
Yeah, it's on
It's on
Spotify.
Spotify.
Reasonable Drought is hard. Trust
It's
me.
fire. It is fire,
Trust
man.
me.
Sold the brick
I'm
out
not
to the
gonna get
parking
too
lot.
mad, 'cause I think one day Kieran
Hallelujah.
and Sam is going to connect.
One day,
Nah,
yeah.
man. Stove God.
I like Stove God.
Oh.
I just haven't caught the Stove God
ad-libs.
wave.
Oh man, he was gassing me on back 2 times, man. Woo! Sorry, this guy.
Every
can
few
rap.
years, someone comes
I'm
along.
not
every few years, someone comes along. Yeah, I remember the first time I heard Danny Brown. I've tried like JPEG Mafia. There's someone where their style is so different and so like in your face, where you just can't. You have to just respect it. But as Theo says, he's got bars too, and he makes good music.
He does.
I think
He
it was
does.
Rock Marciano that produced that album too, as well.
Yeah, it was Rock Marciano.
I had to take him in, but at the
Okay.
same time, I feel like I don't mind being late to the Stove God Cooks party, because he's so intertwined with Griselda that I'll hear him every now and again, and maybe one day I'll go, oh, what's he doing now? And I'll catch up. But for now, I like the 4 or 5 songs I've heard of his.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, never gets old. Yeah, so this will be a bit different, you know. Like I said, we're reviewing 2 albums in one, so I guess let's just kind of jump between them. So when we talk about the usual kind of topics that we do, let's just join both albums together.
Well, can I say my first bit first then? Because I want to change something that I said in the group. Yeah, Tana Talk is an album. Okay, I originally said it feels
Thank
like a
you.
mixtape, but it gave me more album vibes once I listened to it a few more times. But first 2 listens, I was like, this is a mixtape, because all the other Tana Talks are a
First, yeah.
mixtape.
But I agree, you know.
I just want to say they're both albums in their respective rights, but we'll get into the depth of it, whatever. But I just wanted to kind of clarify a few things there with that, because I didn't want anyone to try throw it on me like, oh, you said it's a mixtape, because I feel
Well,
like
no,
an album.
but I feel like that's a good place to start, because we're going to talk about the content and the bars and that. And what was it about Benny's that, content wise, that made you feel like it was a mixtape, and then why now do you say it's an album?
You know when someone does a trilogy, yeah, or a series of things, yeah, that start out as mixtapes, you just treat them as what they were. So I'm like, Tana Talk is a mixtape series, judging by the research I've done and blah blah blah. So I just came into it with the mindset that it's a mixtape. I didn't want to connect the dots or let the big moments that he tried to pull off. hit, I just kind of was like, it's a mixtape. These are good songs. There's no thought in this. It's just what he's got right now. But I don't know. I feel like the moments reached on this, some of the moments are higher than what happened on Burden of Proof. So it's only fair that I judge this as what it's meant to be, which is, I guess, an album, or I don't know. I don't even know if we should really bother
he
calling
called
things
it an
albums.
independent album. He called it indie album.
I would say project.
Yeah.
It's a project. The idea of a mixtape is something that's like, not finished, not thought out. But mixtapes are becoming like albums now. So, yeah, I don't know. I didn't really I judged the book before its cover, and I let that seep into my thought process listening in.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that they're, but like to be clear, they're both albums. But I think the difference is that with Conway's is that it is so clearly an album. Do you know what I mean? There's been all this anticipation for this shady debut, this major label debut, whatever. And even just if you think about the way it starts with a track like Lock Load, that is very much an intro track. The way it ends as well with God Don't Make Mistakes, very much an outro track. Just the structure of it is, I guess, is explicitly an album. Whereas, like you say, with Tana Talk 4, I mean, in fairness, Tana Talk 3 was an album, and is definitely album standard. But yeah, I think even the way Benny was talking about it, in some ways, it was almost like this kind of fan service project where he knew that's what people wanted to hear, and it doesn't necessarily have the structure or flow like Conway's does. But I mean, the quality of the tracks and the subject matter, it definitely is. It definitely is an album.
Yeah, I just,
When you say the flow, what do you mean?
I just think that Conway's one has a very, like I say, it very much has an album structure.
Like structurally, yeah.
Whereas this one, I mean, I like personally, it works. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but to come straight in with, was it Johnny P's Caddy?
Yeah, it makes you feel like it's not exactly.
just put the biggest song first.
Myself.
That's what I was thinking. Like, at least
it wasn't like really an intro. It wasn't really like an intro track, was it? It was just like, right, let's come in. With
not even,
like,
but that's a typical album structure that we just don't get that much nowadays, though. Like, you don't need an intro track. Think about like all these classic albums like Thriller, even like Hounds of Love, Kate Bush's album that starts with Running Up the Hill. Like all these hits that start at the top. It's another. This is an old album style.
I think as well in this day and age, it's the idea of they see Tana Talk and they don't have to look for the track they like. They just press play on that track and hopefully they let it run. Like, not I'm not trying to say that people aren't trying to listen to this thing all the way through, but I feel like that's a tactic that he could use of like, the big features at the top, click play it and forget about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
Conway's album definitely goes through a distinct journey. Like, starts gritty, gets deep, and then comes to a place of rest. I don't think Tana Talk has any of that really in it. It just has a whole bunch of shit going on.
And I think also with Conway's, I won't go too deep into this because we're going to talk about other aspects as well. But I think with Conway's, it's a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Introspective.
Perhaps a bit more. Well, there's definitely introspection. I was going to say extensive. So I feel like Conway goes a bit further when it comes to the introspection, the vulnerability, and the stories. And not so much the stories, because Benny's, it's a different type of storytelling. It's almost like he's putting game on, like he's giving you game, he's giving you these street tales. Whereas Conway is like, he's not necessarily giving us anything particularly new, or departing from what he's done previously, but he's going even further.
Elaboration.
Exactly. There's a level of detail and I guess emotion that's on I would say that hits a bit harder than Tana Talk 4 does. So that would be the other aspect where I'd say that Conway made more of an album in that sense. Yeah.
The vulnerability is interesting though, because I think Conway, for me, his best thing is his vulnerability. Like when you go to the couch, for example, like the cow, like 2015, that's 7 years ago, all the way up to now. Like, I think his best thing clearly is his vulnerable raps and stuff. Whereas Benny's one is actually the opposite of that. It's like his invulnerability that's his appeal. Do you know what I mean? Like he's like this. He's this goat rapper. He has no flaws. He makes flawless track lists, all of this kind of stuff.
He dabbles though. He gives us snippets. Do you know what I mean? Like on is it Buster Brick Nick where alludes to the shooting that he experienced.
Oh,
What was it,
yeah,
like
yeah,
a year and a half ago or so?
Yeah.
He did it on Burden of Proof with a couple of tracks. It was
Oh,
seemed
yeah,
like a
Oh
short
yeah,
track.
Survivor's
No,
Guilt.
he did it.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
So-
Survivor's
but that's
Guilt
the
on
thing.
the Plugs I Met, and then sorry, and on Burden there was I forgot the name of it, where he really goes deep as well. There's a really
yeah,
nice
yeah,
track.
yeah.
It was when we reviewed it, it was one of my favorite tracks, and it was because he went deep.
Mhm.
I need to get the name of that track.
I think we'll talk about it more towards the end, but I think that's why I see Benny's ceiling is high, and I feel like he is going to give us that one day, but not yet. You know, we know he's signed to Def Jam, and you know we're going to get that major debut, label debut from him at some point. So maybe he's saving it. Do you get what I mean, for the big occasion?
Well, that's what I'm kind of a bit confused about, but I'm glad that Sean kind of made it a bit clearer to me. It's like, you said it's fan service, Tana Talk 4, rather than an album, and that might be why God Don't Make Mistakes feels a bit, I don't want to say better, because I'm not comparing the two, but to me it just feels there's a bit more substance to it. Like Conway explores ideas and thoughts throughout a whole song, rather than multiple thoughts and ideas in one verse, or one song.
Yeah,
I think that's one thing why Conway feels it's that linking back to what we were saying, but like Conway makes like songs like Stress, which is like conceptual, and like Benny has a few conceptual ones, but it's more like he's rapping about all types of stuff. It's like that kind of like mixtape barring where they're just rapping. They're just rapping like stream of conscious type stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk about Stress, because I feel like Conway, like I said, I don't think, subject wise, Conway isn't really telling us completely new stories we've never heard. There are certain things that that he says on this song as well where I can't remember him ever talking about, such as like the loss of his son and things like that. It is in Stress where he says that, right?
Yeah. He said he had a
interesting.
baby and it died. That's why he drinks a bottle a day and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So I'm waffling a bit. I'm just going to get to it. I feel like this is his greatest song.
I think so.
I think it's one of his greatest songs because it's flipping deep, and even
It's one
even
of,
that like
defo.
even that to add that motivational speech thing at the end. I'm not gonna lie, that makes me hyped.
That's mad. Yeah, that always
makes
gets me.
Hyped, because it's just like it's so true to anyone that's out there. It's like when you're down and down, no one's there to help you, but that's like the fire that you need in your belly to get you back up again. And it's so relatable to what he was talking about and being stressed. The whole song's just it's just amazing. It's just.
Yeah, I don't know if hip hop
I love
understands
it.
that moments like what Conway's done there is rare, where a big quote unquote macho boss type level guy is really fragile. Almost to the point where you might see parts of yourself in that and go, damn. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just me that feels like this sometimes.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I think that personally, it's probably not it's not one of my. It's not my favorite Conway song. You know what I mean? There's other Conway songs that I personally prefer, but even on first listen on this one, listening to what he was saying, it was just immediately I went, oh my God, this is special. This is like Tupac, DMX levels of vulnerability. Do you know what I mean? Where it comes from, like you say, a person rapping in a space where, yes, they might sort of dabble in things like alcoholism and depression and this and that, and talk about the sort of traumas that come with that life. But to go this deep into it, he
does it well though, like because what I like about this song is whenever I listen to it, it's like a journey of the mental condition he goes through, because it's like he starts with stress. I think the second verse though is about depression, and then the third verse he kind of like covers it where he's like, I'm stressed because I'm depressed because I can't remember what he said, but wait, what is it? Oh man, I lost it there. I'm stressed because I'm depressed because I'm stressed because I'm go
on, man.
I got it. I'm stressed because I'm depressed because I'm just tired of this shit. And I feel like that's like the progression of the three verses. And when I listen to it, it's like I kind of go, because I'm going through all of those stuff as well, and it kind of puts you in that mindset. And like then the ending bit where it takes you off and makes you feel good. I'm not making sense.
No, you are. You're making sense.
Yeah. Does anyone else experience that journey?
Yeah.
Because I keep thinking, is it just me?
Plenty of sense. Because that's what I was listening to it today, and I was feeling that. I
was thinking, like, how's this song resonating this hard?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was hitting deep for me, big time. I was like, damn.
That journey's not a one-time journey. It's a journey you go on multiple times. It's like a weird cycle. But I don't know what it is about that song, but it made me kind of stand back and look and go, oh, so this is how you deal with it. You just realize what part of that process you're in, and you know how to move on to the next bit. It's like he said in his motivational speech thing.
It felt like almost like a confession, or like he's talking to you, like say like you're having a drink together, and he's had a bit too much and he's revealing things to you. Like I mean, there might be bigger Conway fans out there that will say I'm wrong. I can't remember him really talking about like his cousin committing suicide. He maybe has, but when he talked about the vividness as well about the chord for the throat, which just hits, and then he literally says, "I never told nobody, but I lost a son myself." Do you know what I mean? Like when that comes in, you're like, this guy is literally, to me, it's his most, I would say, his most vulnerable track since The Cow, or his most vulnerable lyrics since then. And he is, and this isn't the first time he's done this. In fact, most of the projects I've heard since sort of 2018 to 2019 onwards, there's always one track at least where he talks about alcoholism and the post-traumatic stress disorder that he suffers from and this and that. But this was like, he took it to the next level, and it really is, to me, the sort of centerpiece and the standout track in this album.
My standout line from this is where he says, "Do you think I like my face? I hate this shit," or something like that. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, oh
no, man, it's like,
exactly.
do you know what I mean?
Goosebumps
from this track.
Jesus.
I'm like, you're really picking yourself apart,
though.
huh?
He's slurring throughout that chorus as well.
Yeah.
I feel like Sean's right. It's like an alcoholic kind of confession.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's incredible, man. Incredible. And it's not the only instance on the album where he is this.
Oh, it's not. I think
not this,
it's one of the ones where it links, doesn't it? The certain lyrics make more sense because of tracks before. And then tracks afterwards, he kind of like refers back to this moment as well in some way.
But this is why I say, I'm jumping to it. This is why for me, Conway at the moment, based on what we've received from these guys, is the strongest member of Griselda. You know, Benny, I still maintain is the star, and I feel like the ceiling is high, and I think he might go the furthest, or will go the furthest out of all of them. But what Conway does lyrically and content-wise, and just his sort of versatility on different types of production too, it's more well-rounded. And I guess we're coming back to the album thing again. This album just felt really wholesome and well-rounded, I felt. Yeah.
I came away from it feeling like I knew Conway a lot more than I did before. Whereas with Benny's project, I came in and I was a bit like, oh, okay, Benny's still talking about selling drugs and things like that. That's cool. But with Conway's thing, I'm like, oh, you're a complex person, and you're very aware of yourself, which is a hard thing to do. Like being aware of yourself can actually ruin you more than it can make you feel at peace.
And just to come back to what I said as well, like a track like So Much More. I mean, Conway fans know that he is much more than just this kind of coke rapper, just talking a load of crud and whatnot. But you know, he talks about on this track. But if you listen to albums like La Máquina, where he's rapping over pretty commercial beats, I would say, but then he can also do something with a big ghost or an alchemist, or do you know what I mean? There's so much variety in his soundscape. A track like So Much More,
the way
for me,
So Much More hits, like the way it hits after stress is so bad.
Yeah.
That's
mad,
great sequencing.
That kind of reminded me. It had a bit of I know it's Justice League, but almost like that kind of the grand scale of like a Just Blaze beat. Just this sort of like early to mid 2000s power to it. Yeah. And Guilty as well, the stuff that he's saying.
The stuff on he's saying and Guilty is just it's just amazing, man. Flipping love that track.
But I feel like let's just to switch over to Benny, because I feel like there was a standout on here too, which was his his redoing or revisit of 10 Crack Commandments.
Oh, that was so well done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's a risky move, but I feel like it paid off, because I genuinely listened to it and I was like, I've learned some things here.
It paid off, man. Because, like you said, I thought it was risky, because when I was first listening to it, I was like, oh, well, we're doing 10 Crack Commandments again. Then I deep. Then I like sort of actually properly listen. I was like, oh no, yeah. I read the title again. No, it's 10 more crack commandments. Oh, you're starting from 20. Oh, I like what you're doing here. And to get
It's
the Diddy
interesting.
cosign,
Yeah.
even though I don't care for Diddy.
I
Whatsoever.
don't like what Diddy says at the end though.
Diddy says a whole bunch of bullshit, doesn't
Diddy
he?
talks
You're with me.
shit. Diddy talks
Just take
bullshit
it out.
at the end.
Thank you.
Oh, just because our dads did it. My dad used to sell
I
stuff
know.
back in
I
the
can
day,
do-
blah, blah.
Men are
Shut up
gods,
about this
so
guy
what
on
are
the
women? Like what? Nah, man.
That's what I mean.
It's like he's
Do
trying to
without
like
this guy
fix
off the
himself.
track. Just
Diddy
just
didn't
some-
need to be
what
on
you
that,
call
Some
but-
it,
misogyny,
Diddy, nah.
like
I'm
I
telling
was
you,
gonna call
when
him
you went to
something, but
Diddy,
I can't.
I was like, I've done this track,
can't.
yeah. What do you think of it? And he was like, yeah, bad boy. It's my time. It's my time to jump on this. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you're gonna get this cosign. And he knew this track was gonna blow up. And he's like, I need to be on this.
wait. Let's stop. Diddy's done some great things in his career. Let's just
Let's
No,
get-
let's
yeah,
respect
but-
him for that.
But
Like,
no, we give him
I'm
some props,
respecting
man.
for
but
that.
Diddy's
we
done
did not
nothing
need
great
him
in
on
his
this
career
track
because
at
he's
the
not a
end, man.
musician. Diddy is
Sam, what are you on about, man?
Diddy ain't a real musician.
produced Biggie's debut.
You think he was in there making them beats? You think he was in there?
I think
doing
he
that?
definitely was one of the record producers. 100%.
He's the
I'm
admin
not
guy,
being
bro.
looped into the Diddy slander. This is your lot.
Listen,
It went a
man.
bit
I'm
too
gonna
far.
sit back.
I started it, but it went too far. Like,
Diddy-
you guys
Diddy-
just got gassed up.
Diddy's not a real musician. His best song is that one where he's on that bike and he falls off it. I don't remember what that one is. Is it Mary J. Blige is on that one or Faith Evans? You know what I'm talking about?
I'm not going this deep.
You know the one I'm talking
saying,
about.
Yeah, we just
Let me
we
find
just
that
don't
Oh,
need.
man.
I
You're
mean,
trying to assassinate the career.
Diddy's
Like,
ad-
what?
Diddy's ad libs on the track were nice, and the co-signer like it because it's the link between obviously the Biggie track and the Benway
It's the
track.
seal
and
of
that
approval.
was
It makes
nice.
sense.
Yeah,
If they didn't have that, it would have felt like
exactly.
cheap in a way.
Yeah, so it's nice that he's on there. The bit at the end,
I'll
I
be
can't
missing
care for,
you.
so-
That one. That's the one.
The biggest song of his career, right?
That's the only song that matters, man. The rest of it's not real. Like
Diddy's got some tunes. No, I know what you mean about seal of approval because I'm just going to play a bit of devil's advocate here.
I can't, man. What the hell?
Do you think this was a bit of a missed opportunity in the sense that imagine this was produced by DJ Premier?
No, but respect Alchemist. He put it on nicely.
I'm not mad at that.
I hear what you're saying, Sean.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at it though.
But it's
I
not
feel like
Alchemist who
Alchemist
produced 10 Crack
is good
Commandments.
enough.
It's Derringer.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yes,
oh, swear.
Derringer.
Beat Butcher and Derringer.
It's,
We need to
it's all
shout
a
out
blur
Beat
for
Butcher
me
as
on
well.
this project.
Everyone's
beat was
going on
nice,
about
though.
Derringer,
The
but Beat
beat
Butcher.
was nice.
No,
Yeah, Beat
no,
Butcher.
I-
No, give him his props as well, man.
I
'cause
don't
he
think-
does
Who
his
who
thing
is
on this
Beat
project.
Butcher? I thought that was
Part
just
of the
Benny.
Griselda group.
No.
No,
Beat
no,
Butcher's
no,
been
no.
working with Derringer for a long while.
Fuck?
He's been in the Griselda camp for a long time. But
To
just
answer
to
your
clarify what
question-
I'm saying, I think the beat's great as well. The
Yeah.
song to me, like that's why I think it's the standout of this this album.
But
I'm
to
just
answer
saying,
your
like,
question, Sean, they don't need Primo to do that because it's a different thing. If he was redoing the 10 Crack Commandments, then maybe I'd be a bit like, oh, maybe you should have done this and that. But the Diddy co-sign makes it good enough because apparently Diddy is Biggie's spokesperson from Beyond the Grave.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Thing is, Benny
to
don't rap
clarify,
like Biggie as well. Benny does that flossy rapping, and it's like this is the kind of beat for that floss.
Yeah.
To clarify though, I agree. I think it's great that Derringer especially did it because it becomes its own song of its own time. Do you get what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Going the Primo route, you're in danger of being I don't know, not gimmicky, but
No, you're right.
I don't know.
That's the
I'll
word.
skip-
No, it's
Wait,
gimmicky. It's
That's the
gimmicky.
word. That's the word.
It's-
That's the exact word.
It's not his own song. Then this is like
His
his
Biggie
own
would have
moment.
said no. Let's be
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
If
exactly.
Biggie
Oh,
was
yeah,
alive,
Biggie
and that was
would- yeah,
happening.
exactly.
And going back to what Kieran said, like you know, I know Conway said it on record, but I feel like people are starting to now hold Derringer right up there with the top producers. Like for instance,
Oh,
there's the
100%.
RZA comparison.
Oh,
like,
he really deserves it now.
This
Yeah.
is almost like not a passing of the torch, but it's like I can even imagine Primo say like he got asked to do it and him going like, no, you get Derringer to do it, get him to do it. This is his era, this is his time. Let him do that. Let him do his bring his take onto this record. So yeah, I'm glad that it wasn't Primo that did it, but apparently he's in the video, so that's a nice little, I guess, bit of homage to him.
Just to
What he
add, the
did
10
with
Crack
the
Commandments,
original.
like obviously they're not just for like drugs and stuff. It's about like trying to make your life worthwhile and trying to like, you know, use the drug game to enhance your life. This actually gives you more of a breakdown as to why drug dealers do half the things that we think are stupid. Like when he was talking about buy cars, buy jewelries, to you that shit might look dumb, but like what if the plug is gone and blah blah blah? Buy shit that you can sell. I was like, I never thought of this.
Yeah. And it's also when he says like you got to try your own shit where people get overdosed on that stuff. But he's right. It's like people tell you that that's fire, but you got to make sure that the shit actually is fire. Whereas on the flip side, you would think that's dumb. No, it's actually really smart because that's actually what gets you to sell the drugs in the first place.
Well, the mad thing is obviously Biggie's will say never get high on your own supply.
Yeah.
But he never said don't test your product. And I feel like one thing that a lot of drug dealers that are currently out there or whatever forget about is a lot of people that were doing drugs or selling drugs, no, other way around. A lot of people that were selling drugs had family members that did drugs. So they would take it to their uncle or their, maybe even their mum or their dad and test it out, which is a mad thing when you think about it, But I don't know. I feel like obviously the drug game is completely different from how it was in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s to now, but Benny definitely has given younger people a lot of insight and advice, whereas the 10 Crack Commandments is just all advice. There's no insight. He just says shit and it's like, these are the rules, that's it. But Benny's like, this is why certain things are done.
Yeah.
Do we find what Diddy's saying a bit preachy at the end, actually? Where he's like, we don't need to do this.
Man. Jesus,
I get the message, innit? So I
Sean,
to bring it back.
Sean, speak. Why are you shaking your head, man?
How are you feeling about the message?
The message is dumb. I don't care for what this guy is saying. I just switch off, man.
It's positive, isn't it? It's positive,
but he just with this voice and the black woman came
but
from the black man.
I got an issue though. Like
she is.
Some people don't have it. It's not a choice for some people, innit? Like some people are like at school, they're getting bullied. They join this gang. They sell these drugs. Like that, they need this advice. It's not really their choice.
Theo's had enough. Theo does not like Diddy at all.
Theo dips.
He was out on it.
Well, I was going to refer to Benny's ending, which I liked, and it's something that he makes clear in interviews and that he said on other tracks. But he finishes off the record by talking about how as soon as you get a chance, get out.
That's the part as well.
That's the most important part, I think. And I guess, as much as we're talking about fan service and about, I guess to come back to the whole, like we were talking about how wholesome and extensive Conway is, but I guess the difference with this one is Benny is doing what he does better than he has ever done it before. And that's what I mean by fan service. He knows what his fans like and what they've been craving. He's given it to them. He's I guess reached a new level at doing that, performing in that lane. But he's always maintained and been clear that, he doesn't want to glorify this stuff.
Yeah.
And he did that with this record as well. It was a great way to sum it up, I think. And like I say, not necessarily my favorite on the album or one of my favorite Benny tunes of all time, but this one just felt again like a centerpiece, like the most, I guess, important record for multiple reasons.
See, for me,
it was also the conceptual song, though.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
No, it just felt the best. Like for me, out of all the songs on here, that and Uncle Bun, those are the only two songs that I really was like, ooh, you know what I mean? I got to take these ones in. I like these ones. The rest of the project or album, I could throw away. Like, obviously not Stove God Cooks and Weekends in Perry's, but I don't know. 10 More Crack Commandments felt like the biggest moment of this whole thing for me.
Well, there was anticipation too. Sorry, Kieran, you go ahead. There was an Instagram. There was like leaked, not leaked. There was he was sharing this, teasing the song on Instagram Live, and he'd spoken about this record, and obviously with its history, I guess there was a lot of pressure to deliver, and they did. They definitely did. So,
what I was going to say is, the thing is, this whole album is actually great. And the reason why 10 More Commandments stands out isn't because it's like better than the rest. Because I think personally there are actually better songs on this album, but it stands out because it's like hyper conceptual. In an album that feels like mixtapey bars, like this is a moment where like he's stuck on one theme.
True. And
like a concept that's beyond just like his other kind of like talk and stuff. I feel like Benny needs to do this more, to be honest. Like songs like this where
But
he's just trying something.
He did it on Burden of Proof consistently, and that's what made me enjoy that project so much. And even on the plugs I've met, he does it more.
He did, but this is further than that. Do you know what I mean? Like that they're conceptual in areas, but this is like a hyper concept, isn't it?
Well, but this is what Conway is doing throughout his album. That's why it feels something.
Like
more.
this is like when Jay-Z did 22 Twos. It's that kind of like I've got a concept for a song and I'm gonna roll with it.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Most definitely.
Before we go over to things like production and features and that, Kieran, you said that you thought there's perhaps better songs on this album. So what can you dig into a couple of those?
To be honest, like I thought Johnny P's Caddy, but it's a pre-release. But that was actually a crazy moment. I know Sam wasn't feeling it too much, but for me, like I was like, I don't think I've ever heard Benny rap this good. I can't remember an Alchemist beat this good. J. Cole's feature was mad as well. Like I just went like
careful here.
Bias kind of vibes. I was sure. Wait. Recency bias vibes. Doesn't that sound like a 10 out of 10 Alchemist beat?
That
like,
beat's hard though.
You're like, yo,
that beat is hard.
This is top notch Alchemist. Yeah, like
you know what?
Sometimes Alchemist makes those like understated beats, innit? But this knocks.
Yeah,
this knocks so.
You know what
good.
it is?
That song was hard.
Kieran, is that Alchemist? Over the last few years, especially, he's really, I guess, carved his own sound, and he's become very. We're kind of going into the production here now, but we might as well get to it. He's carved his own sound in the sense that he's very much become associated with sort of minimal to no drums, to these loops and obscure samples and the transitions and all this stuff, creating an atmosphere. This was like a throwback to some of the beats he made in the 2000s, where
that's why I love it. Yeah.
So I know what you're saying. Yeah. It's like you can put it up there with like your Revolutionary Warfares and things. Do you know what I mean? That are more, I guess, easy on the ear. But I mean, some of the more fucking like out there experimental stuff he's done is crazy.
No, it's definitely not groundbreaking what he's done, but like as a put together beat, like this could stand up against like some like Kanye's production, and like you can hear like it's got the complexities to like match it. Do you know what I mean? He's a minimalist producer usually.
But that's what a good beat does. A good beat doesn't always have to slap you in the face. Sometimes a good beat is just setting the right tone and the right vibe, which is exactly what Johnny P. Kelly does.
Though. But Buster Brick Nick. Did Alchemist do that one as well?
It might be Derringer. You'd be surprised how much Derringer's on it.
That beat bangs, and Benny's raps on that. They're like,
yeah. I was gonna say
it's a late one for me. Like it was today. I'm gassed in it. I haven't even got like words to intellectually explain that. But that song is crazy when you deep it. Like Benny's saying some stuff on that.
Oh yeah. I'm glad we're getting back to the bars on that, because just to quickly say that's Alchemist as well, Buster Bricknick. Wow, that's one of my favorites.
It's a magical beat.
That's also one where, like I said, Benny is kind of dabbling in the vulnerable stuff.
He goes in though, like the verses, the flows are switching a little. He's saying different stuff as well.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
The slickness of Benny though, like when he
My little. I compare him to Jay-Z in it, because it's the way he says stuff.
I know what you mean. It's stuff like when I can imagine Jay saying what I'm about to repeat, where he says, "My little crypto investment was probably triple your necklace." It's just like that little slick. It's the way he delivers it though.
That's one thing I want to say about the whole of Griselda, is that mafiosa, whatever the word is.
They've got that on point, like they've mastered it.
But Benny's definitely like, he's channeling that original Jay-Z energy of like, I sold drugs. I'm not really trying to like dwell on that too much. I'm trying to give you like these odd business lessons or like these weird stories that I've got from that era of my life. And he's like, I'm rich now, type thing.
The other just the last one, Mr. Chow's Hall. I think what Benny does on that vocally on that verse is nice. Like he switches up the delivery. It's not like the typical like Tana talk that we hear. I feel like he's harking that new era of what's to come.
Yeah, that was a sleeper to me. That hit me today, actually, that one.
It's different. Like he's rapping with emotion. I'm hearing something, inflections in his voice I've not heard before. Like was it the last thing he recorded? I don't know. Like it feels different though.
Yeah, definitely. And then what about Conway? What about like some of the, again, to kind of not to go too much into production or features in that, but were there any other songs on Conway's where we thought, wow, that's the
Well, I want to just add in quickly, Back or Back 2X, whatever the fuck it's called. That song's a banger on Tana Talk 4.
Oh yeah, that's a banger.
But then flowing in from that, drum work. I don't know why no one cares about drum work as much as I do. Drum Work is the banger.
Drum
from
Work's great.
Conway's album, yeah. That song for me just stands out. I don't know why. That Love the Genius person, they get things going for that.
Yeah, we'll get into her.
What I love with Conway is his. I love Conway's like 50 Cent stuff. So on Lock Load, the chorus, I feel like that's definitely like 50 Cent's melodic rap on street,
Great
gangster
intro.
rap, and he does it on like I think Stress. The chorus is arguably 50 Cent-ish. Does anyone think that?
Welcome back, Theo. He's
Yeah.
He's
I
in
thought
on
that
his
before.
phone.
Yeah, Theo's in on
What's
the
up, Theo?
phone.
Theo, what's going on? Plugged in.
I had to join through my phone, so the quality's gonna sound shit. But I just
Yeah, it's all good.
Your laptop's moving a bit Shawnish.
We're just Theo, we're getting into sort of like final tracks on each album that were standouts for us, both like in terms of bars and content and that. And Kieran was just saying how some of Conway stuff reminds him of 50 Cent. And do you know the first time I thought that was on the Lulu EP?
Swear, that early?
Yeah. What song is it on the Lulu EP where he sounds like 50?
There's something about it, innit? He's grittier than 50, but I hear it sometimes.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Looks like Theo.
I want him to do that more though. I want him to rap with these melodies because it's he swags it out nicely.
Yeah. But I'm with Sam on Drum Work and piano as well. What's it called?
Piano Love.
Piano Love.
Piano Works.
Piano Love was a pre-release though. That came out like
that
months
was a single.
ago.
Yeah. But that was like to me, and then just to kind of like cross-reference with Benny's is what was the song? Is it oh my god, why am I forgetting all the tracks? Bear with me.
Super Plug.
There we go. So Piano
Super
Love and
Plug's
Super
hard.
Plug were like
Super
were
Plug's
like
amazing.
Classic Griselda, like
Yeah.
the quintessential Griselda sound
At its best as well. It wasn't like a lower standard like that. What's that Griselda posse cut on Conway's one? Because that one doesn't hit. Does
John
it? We've all
Wooflick.
said it.
I was about to
John
mention
Wooflick.
that. I was about to
I
mention
like
that
it.
one. I like that one.
I
man.
like the tune, but it's not.
Mhm.
It's not Griselda's
one
best
of their
tune,
best.
is it?
Nah, but
not
I was gonna
it's not
say
one
like no one's gonna mention
It's
that, but you're
definitely a
right.
grower. No, it's definitely a grower.
Chanel Pearls as well is a standout track for me. My standout tracks,
man. Yeah.
Chanel Pearls and Drum
Wait.
Work.
Has anyone touched on God Don't Make Mistakes though? Because what a perfect outro that is on Conway's
Wow.
No, we
album.
Not really.
That is
not in
powerful.
depth, No.
That is
Oh, that bit-
powerful,
The
man.
bit with his mum, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
The
That
mum's
is
making
one-
an appearance
that's
again on the
that's-
album.
Yeah, but that's a
Mm.
standout to me because that's a powerful song. Love that song.
Tear gas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tear
Why are we
Gas
not
is
talking about tear gas?
Nah,
What?
we'll get there. We'll get there.
That's-
We'll get there.
Woo.
For a different reason, we'll get there.
And has anyone
shall
talked
we-
about on Benny's? Anyone talked about Thory's Revenge?
Nah.
No, we actually didn't mention
No,
that because I was
that's
trying to
another
hold
one.
back because that one is gas.
You know what?
Whenever
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one hits.
Yeah, that's
Now, as soon as you mention that, Theo, let's go to let's move on to production.
Like Thory's Revenge is one of my best Alchemist beats
Oh,
ever. Like
Jesus,
that gasses me.
It's the
way, like,
horns.
oh,
The horns are.
No, but it's the strings before the horns, and then it like
Yeah.
oh.
Do you know why? It's because first of all, it's the I would say out of all the tracks on that album, it's the biggest change in pace. It's got a bounce to it that none of the other tracks have. Right. Secondly, I can't remember Alchemist ever making a beat like that. But it's still got the sort of layers and the depth to it, and so, like it's still, if you really listen to it, there's a lot going on. But the horns, I've never heard Alchemist make a beat that jumpy with the horns, and
It comes perfectly after Uncle
sound
Bun
like-
because Uncle Bun's
yeah.
so slow. I think like that
Yeah.
might even be the slowest tempo out of the whole ones before it.
yeah.
So then this comes and it's like
Them
you
horns
can
are
tell
like some
Benny's having
medieval
fun.
horns though, man. They're like
yeah, they're not like the typical like trophies kind of horns, isn't it?
Pied Piper, Slick Rick.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why is Slick Rip coming up every week with you? Nah, what is this? This is a conspiracy. Sometimes I might be looking at something on another screen and then you man get lost in your own talk and start talking about fucking Slick Rick, man. It started ever since we did the Super Bowl episode. You man are talking about Slick Rick, Slick Rick, Slick Rick. Stop it, please. For the love of God, stop it. Because a Slick Rick song came up the other day, and all I'm thinking is what you man was saying about it being a
Just
pedo.
be like,
It's
he's
not
hard
fun.
as well.
This is the problem. I can't enjoy Slick Rick no more. Maybe I'm not right in the head, but that beat's just all right. Like the better beat for me from
No.
Alchemist on
Yeah.
this is Johnny P's
No, Sam,
Caddy.
think about the strings. Think about the strings that it
I'm
starts with.
thinking
It's like a
about it and I
sample.
like it, but it's
But
like
then-
I'm more lost in the bars. Maybe I haven't listened to the beat. That's probably what it is.
The beat is because there's the thing is, like I said, there's the jumpiness in the horns that I don't normally associate. Well, we don't normally associate with the Alchemist, but it's the strings in the background, man. It's the way it comes in.
It makes a
and out.
modulation, I think. Like I'm quite sure that's a modulation, and like it just feels incredible. It's commercial. It's hella commercial, but it's artistic as well.
But like we've talked about that beat. We've spoken about Johnny P's Caddy. Let's talk about just his work in general over these 2 albums. Like,
It was even on Earl Sweatshirt's album as well. Like that's kind of included.
Alchemist is everywhere in
Yes.
this underground scene right now. Like he's literally everywhere.
It's in a go conversation at this point.
Oh, Alchemist is just too much.
He wasn't in our top 10, was he?
Too much.
He was there.
Was
though.
he
He
in
was
our
on the
top 10?
short list. He was on the short list.
Yeah, he was on the
top
short list.
10,
Yeah,
not top
yeah, yeah.
5.
Okay.
Made top 5.
Okay.
I feel
Yeah.
like he had a stronger 2020.
Yeah, he
but He
did.
still
He
had a
did.
strong
Yeah.
21, but I think because 2020 was so strong, it didn't feel like he.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know. It just didn't feel as impactful as 2020. But this year, the way he started this
Oh,
year,
he's leading the way, man. No one's even on his level this year. I'm sorry, he's
Untouchable.
coming out with
yeah.
just
I don't know
bangers.
how you can top these 3 albums he's
Yeah.
worked on.
God.
I think as well, when you have a high output, it's very hard to maintain a level of quality that he has. Like he's really, really just. It's almost like he's getting better and better. He's been in the game well over maybe 20 years nearly now. I want to say.
Yeah,
probably.
he's
Longer, longer.
Yeah, it's longer. Yeah, he's been here for.
But he's
time.
been respected for a long time. But now I think he's
Yeah,
entering
long
that
time.
that GOAT level where he's like. I know it sounds dumb to say, but you know when you get to that point when you actually just have a process in your head and you're just doing things unconsciously. That's when some of your greatest work comes out because you have genius in your mind and you're able to translate it straight out, and that's what he's doing.
I think early days, when you listen to, because he's been around now for, it's got to be like 20 to 25 years at least, right? When you listen to his early beats, like stuff he did for Mobb Deep and oh god, I'm trying to think of
Nas.
a couple others. Maybe Nas. I'm thinking the early stuff. You can really hear his influence, like
Okay.
Primo and people like that, right? And then he had a successful career working for, with artists like Nas and other big rappers and whatnot, and was one of the better producers of the 2000s.
He never made
But
a
then-
cheesy rubbish beat. I'll give you that. He never made what I call
no.
a Madden,
But-
a Madden type beat.
No. But in 2010s, especially into the last 4 or 5 years, like I said earlier, he's actually, now there is an Alchemist sound. Like
Yeah.
even though he's got such a vast range, because if you think about it, over these 2 albums, you get, we've just listened to that and Johnny P's Caddy, but then you get stuff like Piano Love and Super Plug. Do you know what I mean? Which is more in
The thing is,
that sort of
that he's
atmospheric
produced.
Alchemist realm.
It's all him, isn't it? And like when they sound like him, I think he's produced it as well.
Yeah. But I think he said, I listened to him talk once, he said that, I think around the sort of beginning to middle of last decade, he noticed these new guys coming through, people like Earl, Action Bronson, Griselda, stuff like that, and just thought, you know what, I'm going to surround myself with these guys, the younger guys, and just feed off that energy. And I think that's helped him in terms of, I mean, his output's ridiculous. The volume that he puts out is mad, but in terms of like creating his own sound now, like this distinctive Alchemist sound, and he doesn't even really use the tag either. Do you know, like he used to always have the Alchemist sort of tag at the start of songs. He doesn't really use that as much anymore. He did on Benny's album.
But that's the sign of a real producer. Like you can hear a Kanye West beat, you can hear a Just Blaze beat. And the thing is, the time that Just Blaze and all those type of tag producers came from, you would do that so that you could get credit on the song and all this kind of stuff and whatever. But now I think we're entering a stage where there's a lot more kind of credit to be put into the fact that people can go, is that an Alchemist beat? That sounds like Alchemist, because your name is already in their head in the list of, this is such a good beat, who made this fucking beat type thing.
Yeah, I just don't get how he does it, because from what I understand, his background isn't, I think he grew up in the hills, in like Beverly Hills or something like that.
Sounds about right.
From quite I guess not, I wouldn't say well off, but he was comfortable growing up.
He
hold
definitely
on.
has a sample bank though.
I was gonna say
his beats, the samples on them, right? Like this, It's always got a sample.
I don't understand
Always.
why
Yeah, the
people
samples,
do
but
do
it's-
people down though if they're not from like the hood or whatever. Like he's just a guy that makes good beats. Like he's not rapping about doing drugs and
I don't think he
flipping
is
a
though.
brick.
I don't think it's just that. If you listen to like Piano Love, the atmosphere he creates is so grimy.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
dark.
yeah, it's so
You just
dark,
think-
yeah.
You
Killer
almost think
shit.
that's what makes it more amazing to me. Is like you would think you would have to go through something like that or like
Wow.
experience those things to do that, but he hasn't. and
He's
he
an
can do
artist,
that.
isn't he?
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
I
he's a
think
real- yeah.
someone said way before we were actually releasing these that all struggle is just struggle. Like even if it's just like you went through like being broke, like a rich man's struggle is the same as a poor man's struggle. Like they're all stressed about the same type of things. So he's just, I guess he's able to just channel emotions, or maybe he's the type of producer that'll sit down with an artist and talk to them for
That's what I
however
think.
long and be like,
I
oh, is
think
that
he
how you're
listens.
feeling and this and that. I got this beat on. Let me try and make something, because there's a couple moments in Tana Talk where Benny says stuff like, "I can't believe I got Alchemist up this late." Like, so,
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm thinking, what are they doing? Like, they're not sat there making beat after beat after beat. They must be vibing, smoking, chilling. You know what I mean? Just spending time together, which is something I feel is what makes better music, is when you get to know each other.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Alchemist beats, they always have a mood as well, right? Like
Yeah.
I think
Always.
I can't think of a producer like that, to be honest, where it's like every single one is a specific mood, and it's not even like a word a mood you can explain in words, right? It's just like a feeling you get, and every single one has that. Like
well,
this
to me,
feeling.
that's where, I mean, that to me is why, that's why on the run through I put, have we got to start putting him in the GOAT conversation? Because to me, it's people like Jay Dilla that could do that. It's people like Madlib that can do that. You know, I guess Kanye West to an extent in the early part of his career with what he was doing. Maybe less so, but definitely Jay Dilla, for instance, like the real sort of, especially instrumental albums as well, really making you feel something.
That's what music's meant
I
to
think-
be, a captured feeling.
Yeah.
And I feel like with hip hop, we normally look for that captured feeling in the lyrics. So to have that captured feeling in the beat is what elevates all what he does to that higher level.
Yeah. I guess the other person to talk about is Derringer.
Wow.
I think
You
know,
honestly,
we talk about.
It's gotten crazy now.
he needs his flowers, man.
He's the next guy, man.
Yeah, he really is. Man.
I
Some
used
of these
to I
beats-
used to not rate him. Like I used to just be
Some of
like,
these
cool, he's good, he makes the sound. But
Yeah.
something about these two albums, the beats he's
Yeah.
put on them,
Disgusting.
especially on Tana Talk. On Tana Talk, Derringer's like matching Alchemist at like Alchemist.
Oh, 100%. Because
You know
when
what I
you when
mean?
you have Johnny P. Caddy's that Alchemist beat and you go straight onto back two times, I'm sorry, that Derringer beat is. I was just like,
Derringer's
what
not
is
worse than Alchemist on that project.
Oh,
like he
no, he's
matched
not.
him.
His
He's
beats
not. He holds
sometimes
his own,
even
man.
feel like Alchemist beats.
Yeah.
That's the problem
Trust-
I'm having.
yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
oh, Alchemist produced all the Tana
Alchemist
Talk.
mixed with RZA though.
Yeah, but
There's that RZA feel for sure.
I think when you're around great rappers like all the Griselda rappers are, you have to kind of be a fairly good producer to keep with them. Because I know he's, not really worked much outside of working with Griselda, but that's probably because Griselda has so much music to make. Do you know what I mean? That he's just there all the
No,
time.
he's integral though, because there's
Yes.
people like
Yeah.
Conductor. Like Conductor makes nice beats for Griselda, but Derringer cuts deeper with the boom bap, like the dustiness. Like I feel like because he can do the flossy kind of area, but also go to the dark area, kind of like how Alchemist does as well. That range. I don't think I've heard Conductor range like that.
Well, I think as well, it's because they probably grew up in and around Derringer. Derringer might have been one of the first ever producers that they got to work with in real life, because they're all from that Buffalo area. So maybe his progression could have fueled them to be better, or vice versa. I don't know what it is, but they're all on this high level, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens when inevitably Derringer gets asked to make beats for people outside of the Griselda camp. Or he gets asked to maybe work with
names.
Kanye, like, because Kanye's always got his ear. I wouldn't doubt if Kanye's not listened to Tana Talk and God Don't Make Mistakes, and is thinking, I like these producers. I already worked with Alchemist. Don't really care about Alchemist. Who the fuck is this Derringer guy? You know?
Yeah.
Could you imagine Kanye and Derringer produce a beef for Pusha T or something?
Oh,
Jeez.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
That would be
What?
disgusting.
I agree with what you're both saying. I think that Kieran's right. I think Derringer's integral, and I feel like I don't think it's wild in saying that behind Westside, he could be the most integral part of Griselda in terms of like creating the soundscape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know obviously Conway and Benny are crucial, but what we're saying about Alchemist and how he I guess, well, we didn't say it, but I'm saying it now, almost elevates an artist, and is a real producer in that sense. I feel like what Derringer's done for these guys is similar.
Like Griselda have a sound, don't they? And that sound is basically what Derringer creates.
Yeah, it's gritty, it's
and
dark,
shout out
it's
Beat Butcher
grimy.
as well.
Who?
Beat Butcher too. Like he does a lot of collabs with Derringer. But I know that Derringer is the
give that man his flowers.
Yeah. But just another thing, just the final thing with Derringer for me is that the thing that impressed me, because Kieran, I'm a bit like you, is a couple years ago, or like 2-3 years ago, I didn't quite get it. Good beats, but I wasn't like wowed by them. But what impressed me on this one is his range as well. Like to do a beat like is it Babas? Is that how you pronounce it? The second from last track from Conway?
No clue.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
I love that one so much.
Because I would say that's a pretty left field experimental track.
That's art. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Like, Conway sounds like Kendrick on that.
That's how they say it. It's art.
I don't think Conway sounded like Kendrick on that with the multiple voice like effect and stuff. It's sick.
Keisha did that thing as well. But then you get the sort of, again, what we were saying about what Alchemist did with stuff like Piano Love and Superplug, what Derringer does with drum work. And
drum work.
What's the one on, is it, I guess back 2 times as well. But definitely drum work and things like John Woo Flick and, that sort of, that prime Griselda sound. It's like he's just, I don't know, man.
Drum work sounds weird because you know what it's about drum work? Drum work instantly makes you feel just like you're in the band, though. I don't know how to describe it, but that weird creepy piano and that weird drum beat that's like, it's like the guy's drumming, it stops and it's going, and then like everybody's flow is like pushing and pulling. You're just like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, that's hard to create a vibe like that. It's very trippy. And the bass.
I mean, if Alchemist is number 1, then Derringer is, he's 100% in my top 5.
This year, he's got, man, Derringer's just, he's going to be in top 5.
When I'm thinking there's Alchemist, I loved what Black Noise did on Earl's album, Big Crit, that was impressive. I can't think of anyone else I'd put above Derringer.
Well, we've only just started the year, though. Do you remember last year we were in a similar position where we were all like, this is a mad year. How is anything going to top it? And then the year just went like that. We got so many banging projects. So let's just relax. I'm not making no lists quite yet.
Summer's going to be hot. Because
Summer's going to be wild.
Freddie, I feel like J. Cole's going to drop, I've seen him on a lot of
I don't know why you keep thinking that. Because
he's on Lollapalooza. He's on Lollapalooza as well now.
He's going to tour. What's it called? He's going to tour.
Why did Cole do those 2 features too? Nah.
He's not dropping out. Whoever said that Freddie was going to drop this week for next week's touring doesn't make no fucking sense. Okay? I'm sorry. I was like, that literally makes no one's going to know the songs. Like, what the fuck is that? So, I don't know. I don't feel like the rest of the year is going to disappoint, but maybe it could be a Griselda year. Think about it. We've had 2 Griselda projects in the first, if we divide them into quarters, first quarter or half of the year. Let's be honest. We probably have another 3 by the end of the year.
Yeah, they will drop more.
Oh, yeah, shit. Sorry, I just realised Derringer did Stressed as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course he did. Of course he did.
I thought you guys thought it was.
Of course he did.
Did you know that?
I thought. Did you not look at that? That's why I'm saying he's doing his thing.
Relax.
Who asked? Whoa.
Nah. None of this malarking. Jeez, man. You bite back up, I'll get flipping Hedwig on you.
Oh shit.
Boom, 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 go. Griselda.
No, it comes back to the versatility thing as well. I think Stressed is a bit different to what we've come to know from Derringer. Were there any other producers on either project that?
It's hard to pick them out, but Tear Gas is produced by some other people. So whoever that 3 different.
Well, Cosmo was one of the producers on that, as well as Chanel Pearls.
Okay, but that's
so much more.
Yeah.
Justice League killed that one.
Justice League, yeah.
I just want to be honest though. The problem is with the beats that we're trying to like scrape together to say any other standout beats. The standout beats are the Alchemist and the Derringer beats.
Yeah,
and they are heavy on both projects, so it's hard.
Hit Boy missed. Let's be real. Hit Boy missed.
Where was
with
Hit
this
Boy?
one?
And I don't know.
Where was Hit Boy?
Did you not like that little vocal sample?
You liked T.I.'s verse.
Oh, I don't listen to that song.
The whole thing's a mess.
I don't listen to that song.
Man. I'm not gonna lie, Hit Boy. Yeah, that beat was mid.
I liked the vocal sample, Sean, but I feel like the
I
drum beat sounds a bit tacky,
Yeah.
a little bit tacky. Like,
it's
like
not-
he's
it's,
just
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't 2020 like
Overly
Hit Boy,
dusty.
or shall I say King's Disease 2? Hit Boy. I wasn't getting that feeling.
You lot are better
Yeah,
people
I
than
it was
me.
more like that
feel
Big
you.
Sean EP kind of
I
stuff.
can't listen to T.I. anymore, so that track has been like it's just off. I think it
That
doesn't even
track is
show up.
So cancelled.
I think because I've blocked T.I. on Spotify. I think that track doesn't show up when I'm playing through the album. I don't have any recollection of that beat.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah. You block T.I. It stops showing it, or not T.I. You can block an artist and it stops showing the music to you. Do you know you can do that?
What?
Do you know you could do that?
Nah,
You
nah,
just
I
click
might
the
have to
three
do that now
dots.
though.
You click the three dots that say there and be like, I don't want to listen to this guy
I
no
can't
more. That's
believe
it.
that. What? Oh snap! That's mad.
What was I gonna say? Shit.
That's the definition of cancel culture.
Bro, only 3 people have that. He was on the floor.
Theo's gone. The other one I wanted to shout out was Bink on Guilty as well. That sounded like that could have sat on the
that
blueprint
beat
or
was,
something.
yeah, no, Guilty was 5 beats. Sorry, man. That block T.I. thing just finished me. I didn't even know you could do that.
Sometimes
What
you have to
do you,
get
what do you think the
mental.
best beat on Conway's is then?
Even-
Conway's
It might
Drum
be
work.
piano love.
Drum work, man.
Oh, drum work.
Yeah, you can say
Piano work
best
gets
beat.
me.
No, I like Stressed.
I like
What,
the
the
lyrics
beat?
more.
No, but well, I tell you what my favorite beat is. My favorite beat's Guilty. If I had to pick, Guilty's my favorite
Yeah,
beat.
that's
off the
mine
album.
too.
Weird.
Tear Gas and Guilty were the 2 beats.
Oh
for
wait,
me.
no, Tear Gas is my number 1 beat actually. Nah, definitely.
Yeah.
Tear Gas was like an instant one where I was like, I kept reloading it when I was trying to listen to the
You're
album.
gassed because it's
'Cause it was
Rick
like-
Ross and Lil Wayne.
This is the thing, like Lil Wayne's first though. Fucking hell. That might be one of the features of the year.
Yeah.
What's
Especially
the song
down
where
the
Lil
line.
Wayne says, I shoot you in your earpods? Is that this?
Yeah, it was Tear Gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
he revolutionary bars on that.
That's fucking
Well,
ridiculous.
let's should we move over to features then?
Go for
Let's
it.
talk about it.
We're already halfway
let's
there.
Just let's dig into the big name on each. Let's talk about J. Cole and Lil Wayne. Where should we start?
I don't really care for J.
He's got a
Cole.
better
Let me,
verse.
let me
I
get
don't
my
know
hater
why
ratio
you don't.
going.
I don't know why.
I'll
you
explain.
don't
Sam,
go
what's
for that.
going on
I'll
here?
explain.
Lads,
No,
let's
J.
hear
Cole
Sam.
verse
Let
is brilliant.
Sam speak.
Benny raps. Benny raps better than J. Cole on that song.
No, I'm not hearing that.
Benny
I'm
raps
not-
better than J. Cole on that song.
No,
and I
that's-
tell you
that's
why.
cap.
I tell you why.
What?
I tell you
I'm getting
why.
some quotes up.
The
Hold
heights,
on.
the heights that
find
J.
it- I
Cole
need to find
can
a cap.
reach, yeah, is way above. No one's letting me say anything. Everyone's ad-libbing,
Sorry,
yeah.
speak. Sorry.
J. Cole can reach higher highs than that verse. That is not J. Cole's best.
No, this is some nonsense.
I'm not
This
even
is
gonna bother then.
ridiculous.
I'm not even
This
gonna
is
bother.
some
This is
nonsense.
actually ridiculous.
I'm sorry, I
What?
don't mean to keep interrupting, but this is
You do.
nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. How can you tell? No, that-
Have you ever heard of now, Sam? Have you ever heard of bar like I'm probably go hell if Jesus asked for a feature? Like that's mad. Like,
No, it's not
that
that
one is
exciting. It's
no,
not that
it's not even
exciting.
that one. Not that where it's like
It's throughout.
it's the Eureka. Einstein breaking on the theory of relativity. There's no MC that is equal. That is
Yeah.
fire. How are you not getting that?
It's throughout
Yeah.
though. Honestly,
For me,
every
it's
bar.
for me, it's the way he kicks it off, almost like it's a film.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
the beginning of his
I was
verse is a
born
bit
on
mad,
the
I
rain
was
and
born
maybe
on
that's
God
where I
was
got a bit rubbish.
Nah,
Like I
that's,
was
Sam, that's that classic J. Cole though. That's like what's that song? God's Gift. That it gives me that kind
Painting
of
a
feels.
picture.
the first
Painting a
4
picture,
bars
man.
were amazing, yeah, and then I just got a bit like, and then he starts telling the best rappers to die, and I'm like, I don't know.
No, but he does it nicely though. He does it
he
with
does.
bars.
I know
That's
my
one thing I'll
opinion's
give you.
wrong. Yeah, I know my opinion of this track is wrong, but I just don't care for it. Like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm having a bit of a weird J. Cole moment again.
You're having a weird moment, Sam.
One-
This is like
Sam.
top tier Cole.
That's it is. No. I'm with
top
I'm with
tier
Kieran and Theo. Yeah, I think to me this is
He the
feature
last of the
year so far.
Mohicans. Yo,
Yeah, I know.
what? I screamed at that bar. Like,
The
what?
what bit? What bit?
He the last of the Mohicans.
Yo,
Oh,
I
yeah,
actually
yeah.
screamed on that bar.
But it's the way he's rhyming that Mohicans with speakers and then sneakers. I'm just flipping out.
So Sean, what were you saying? I'm sorry to interrupt, but
The-
I'm gonna
the one
close these
thing-
lyrics in it because
The one thing that I feel Sam on slightly is the whole like the way he's coming for rappers. Not on this so much, but it feels like he's doing it a lot, right? But for instance, I don't know if any of you have heard the what are they called? Earth Gang album. And
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've
Water
got-
Boys.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when Cole comes on that with the same energy, like the whole like fuck all rappers, I'm coming for you all. It just didn't feel quite right on that one. I felt like I wanted him to talk about something else. Yeah, bit of a side note. Other than that, to me, yeah, this Cole features feature of the year so far. But
this
number
Cole
two,
feature is interesting because it isn't like I get what you're saying, Sean. It's not substantial in what it's like what it could say. Like Benny kind of hits deeper tones, whereas Cole.
no, but
He
it
doesn't
works,
say anything more, but it does work. It does work.
Works.
Yeah, no, it definitely
It works. because it's
Yeah.
just like it's God level. Like,
No,
it's-
this
it's
is perfect.
amazing.
Like I was trying to put this in my top 10 features of all time. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I wouldn't go
That preeminent gas you told us
I
that
was
he was
gassed
on,
in
you're
it.
definitely you're gas.
I'm on a different gas.
No,
with this
but
verse.
honestly, the way he paints this, this feature is just
different.
unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it's J. Cole's best feature.
That I'm
Yeah,
willing
it's
to
up-
accept,
it's up there.
but
It's up
I
there.
don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm not hearing it the same way, but for me, I preferred some of the other features more on this project to J. Cole's. Like Stove God Cook's feature was gassing me a lot more than J.
Oh,
Cole's.
His one's
Stove-
fun. His one's fun.
Nah,
Definitely.
Stove God. Woo! Nah, he's.
But wait.
nah,
What
he's
about
next
hang on?
level.
What about Wayne though? Because
Oh,
Wayne
Wayne's
for
just
me
disgusting.
is
No,
Wayne
Wayne's
for me is
just-
number 2 so far this year. Wayne is like right next to Cole.
I think he's
That
above
verse is-
Cole.
That verse-
Let's be honest. I think Wayne is a way above Cole
That
right
was
now.
strong wine. Like that's been brewing.
I
man.
don't know how you
He
can
popped
say
that
that's
bottle for
way
that.
above Cole. Wayne's verse is hard, but you can't say it's way above Cole.
I'm talking about features for the year. I'm not talking about this one.
Dude, you got
heads
hella
upward
serious on that. You know.
Nah,
Lil Wayne's doing a mad thing this year. Lil Wayne's doing some
'cause-
wild
No.
stuff this year.
Lil Wayne's verse is hard.
It's hard, but the way are you saying is way above it? You're just not giving the respect to Cole.
It was a bit disrespectful.
Lil Wayne's
I
a
got
goat. J.
Cole
Cole's
one.
not the goat. Okay, let's be honest now.
Yeah, but we're talking
What?
about these features alone. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
Cole 1, Wayne
What
2.
is he saying, man? I can't.
Yeah.
Sam, talk to us about Wayne's verse then.
I don't want to talk about it.
What? Why?
I just don't. I don't know how to describe it. It's just for me. It's better than J. Cole. Like he says some wild shit, and there was more shock value in Lil Wayne's verse on Conway's album than there was in J. Cole and whatever the thing Caddy. Like that's it. That's all I have to say. It's fairly
Shock
simple.
value. Okay.
Yeah, it just gassed me more. Like I said, I think I'm wrong about Johnny P's Caddy. Maybe by mid-year I might have woke up a bit more, but for now,
I can't wait for you to say this verse is hard.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like,
but
what
but
the
for
hell?
me, Lil Wayne's just doing a lot more. Maybe because he's coming before Rick Ross and all that. But I don't know. I just like that
Do
song.
you know what? I'd like to give Wayne his props. Yeah, obviously the AirPods line is the one that stands out. But the other one for me was when he said, "Sometimes my phone feel like a wheelchair." I was like, "Oh, only Wayne, only Wayne, only Wayne."
Wayne is just he's different now, isn't he?
Yeah,
Like I
he
feel
is.
like if he puts together an album at this point, it's gonna be different, surely. Like you'd hope anyway. The raps, different levels, honestly.
Jesus Christ! I'm just having a little read through now. Wow.
The verse.
Yeah. Wayne's verse is mad. The
He
only
raps.
thing with that
This is
track
one of
for
ones
me,
he
yeah,
raps fast though. Like I don't hear everything he's saying on it.
Like I love teardrops. Yeah, teardrops. Tear gas.
Tear gas.
I love tear gas. Yeah. I think Conway. I mean, Conway doesn't drop a slack verse, and I love the way Ross was flowing, but I felt like all their verses were just. This is one of those ones where you could tell the verses were sent in. They all felt a bit. You know, like how in,
Disjointed.
Disjointed.
You know,
Yeah.
in the fire,
Yeah.
each verse, like the reason why that's such an amazing posse cut is that all the verses kind of
Build on each other.
Followed, yeah.
This one, it was like they were all individually. Well, not. I mean, Ross's is a good verse, but the other two are great. They're all solid verses, but they just felt a bit disjointed.
It's
still
just
like
like
the
they're all alpha males, isn't it? Like no one's gonna do that submissive verse in the middle.
Do you know what's
I
funny?
feel like Ross's verse should have been middle though.
I thought it was, but I
Ross's
realised
verse was
I'm
a
wrong.
bit, yeah, like Ross's verse was a bit I don't know, like
Well, it's a bit lost.
I don't know how to
when you're
describe
following
it.
Wayne first, you go into Ross's and you're like, this
Why
is
was
like-
that not the middle? That sounds like a middle verse to me.
I think the problem
I
is
think
as
someone
well.
messed it up.
Conway comes in kind of chill and then gets a little bit more going, but Lil Wayne comes in just aggressive and crazy as fuck, and then Rick Ross comes in. Rick Ross comes in, he's all chill, and I'm like, this is just not, it's not feeling nice. It's feeling a bit weird, but I don't know actually. Maybe I'm very, very wrong about this, but Lil Wayne's onto something at the moment, and it's going to be interesting to see what he comes out with in the future, because guaranteed he's got way more tracks for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I think he's got 3 albums or like 3 mixtapes he's working
God,
on
I don't
this
know if
year.
I care to hear
Actually,
those.
so
I want to hear more features more than anything.
I try not to get too excited about Wayne projects because we've been disappointed many times.
Don't ever ask what's in my cup.
But can we talk about some of the sort of newer up and coming artists? I mean, for me, the verse that stands out here is I think I'm saying it right. Love the Genius. She killed it.
Yeah.
She.
I'm so surprised you pronounced that like that. I've been trying to do like
so close.
7 exative.
Yeah, I was saying 7-5 the genius, 7th Ave the genius.
Literally, I was trying to work out what's the code.
Yeah.
No, luckily, I heard it might have been Conway actually talking in an interview, but this isn't the first time I've heard a great verse from her. She was on Theo. Do you remember her verse on La Máquina as well?
Yeah, she was good on that as well. Yeah, because that was really good.
She does not look how I thought she'd look. I thought she'd be like some kind of like tomboy looking. She looks quite feminine.
No, she looks feminine and creative.
Yeah. She's giving me Lauryn Hill kind of vibes actually.
Trust me, yeah.
Even the way she's rapping is kind of Lauryn Hill-ish. Like I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to listen to that song, but I always want to listen to that song. That song's hard.
Oh, that line she's got. The line that made me screw face was when she said, "Found a way like fuck it, make it nasty, put a thumb in it." I was like, what? What? Oh, it was grimy, man. Something like that.
I've just got my bills paid. I've got a conundrum.
Yeah, she was coming in a different
Keisha
pocket.
Plum says something weird like that. I saw in her song where she's like, stick the finger in the vagina. Like, but like,
Yeah, that was like,
But like, I don't know.
That was like some eyes wide shut stuff. That was
some Aphrodite shit. It works with the concept though, because I was in the world for that tune.
I was thinking like eyes wide shut or some weird thing like that, but yeah. But yeah, she
finger in the pole. Like, sorry, cut that out.
Yeah, you know what's the worst part about it? She said, found a way like fuck it, make it nasty, put a thumb in it, and the ad-lib is look. That's disgusting.
What's the video saying? Like,
what do you mean the video?
Because like what we're looking at in the video where she says that then.
Oh, I don't know. Is there a video?
You'd hope.
Oh, I don't know if there's any videos for this project yet.
But I think they both killed it on that track. I think Jay Skis did his thing as well. Lyrical verse. But yeah, there was just something about her, some extra. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Okay, let's talk about Jill Scott.
That was unexpected.
Jump in there, yeah.
Let's go straight into Jill Scott.
It's unexpected as hell.
That was the surprise. That was the surprise of both projects for me. Like I've never
She
heard
was
her
spitting
like that.
Well, she raps on that on her first album. Who's Jill Scott?
Yeah, but it's one of those ones where you don't think of Jill Scott and think she's going to be rapping like that.
Nope. I don't know.
Nope. Especially when you hear the production as well. You think she's going to give you a nice little hook, maybe a bridge. But no, she comes in. Yeah, that was my...
I appreciate the bridge at the end, though. That was nice.
Yeah. No, she really, really, really killed it with that one.
She raps a bit like Lauryn Hill as well, doesn't she? Just like a little bit.
A bit, yeah.
Is she from New York as well? Is she a Buffalo person? Like, where's she from?
I feel like she's Philadelphia.
Philly.
I'll have to look it up.
I think she is.
Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Wait, can we go? Wait, let's go back. Can we talk about Stove God as well, like properly?
Oh,
I mean, we kind of did at the beginning, but Stove God does a
no,
lot.
not enough.
That
he
one bar,
killed that.
It's hard.
that
Yeah.
one bar about leaving a
Second
note for the
feature.
feds is funny. It's so funny.
Yeah, that's the line that made me laugh out loud. He just says things I've never heard anyone say.
I think
crazy
I
stuff.
think his world.
He sounds like a weird guy to me. Like
That's the thing.
I think that's why I haven't listened to him yet, because he just feels a bit weird.
I'd love to hear Stove God and Tyler the Creator like rap on one track together because they have an art of saying very weird things.
Yeah, I get the impression that he's a bit of a wild guy, man. Yeah, I would not want to.
The thing is, I've got gas with Stove Gods as well because he said a few NBA lyrics, man. Just
yeah, I
gas
thought
me.
you were going to say that. Yeah.
There was the Barkley line for me, man. That was the one. Jeez, not the Kyle Lowry one. That was nice, but the Barkley one. Jeez.
My
for sure.
favorite feature out of all of these projects is probably 38 Special, and I actually can't quote any of it because I don't know it.
38
I don't
Special.
know it, but it's just
That
hard.
one for me was like a duet. That was like a.
That was like
the
back and
best
forth. Though. I
collab.
like that.
It's the first time I've liked 38 Special as well.
Exactly.
Oh, really?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know what
I've never cared for him before, but this one was like, yeah, he fits perfectly. Because usually when I hear him, I just want to hear Benny on the tune. I don't really care.
Yeah. Exactly. 38
fair
Special
enough.
did a lot more for me than most other features, especially because they were kind of going back to back. Like,
Yeah, his voice sounded good on this as well. Like it distinctive to Benny's.
yeah. So
Well, this is one where, like, you know how I was saying that Tear Gas felt like they sent the verses in. This one felt like they not only were in the booth but wrote it together almost.
yeah.
This felt like a real collaboration. This one, pardon me. And by the way, Jill Scott is Philly. She is from Philly. What
Shout
about
out to
Boldy? I thought Boldy killed it as well. Boldy's verse was-
Boldy's
Oh,
verse was
that
nice.
song is cool though. Like even the Alchemist
Yeah.
beat with that. It's,
But
it's
he
a
always
perfect
kills
vibe.
it.
Hard.
Though. I feel like
Yeah, Boldy James.
a lot of Griselda people have some of their best verses on a Boldy James album, which is very sad.
Boldy James had some lines on there as well, man. He said,
It was the one with the silhouette.
Yes, yeah, the silhouette one.
line was just whoa, that was hard.
what does he say? I'm trying to.
Yeah,
think.
I need to find it, but it was that's the one that stood out to me. The silhouette line. What's this?
Oh no, it's not. Oh yeah, that's it. Feel like I've been betrayed by my silhouette. Mistakes was made to correct, or something like that. Yeah, man, that was a quite a heartfelt verse. That one. Yeah, Boldy's different. Boldy's another one where there's just something about him, man. In his own little, not in his own lane, but he's very distinctly Boldy James. There's no one else that sounds like Boldy James at all. It's almost like he doesn't give a shit when he's rapping, but it still sounds amazing. He's so laid back, but so grimy as well. Anyone else? Any other features that stood out to us?
No, we've exhausted the whole thing. I think.
I think we have. Yeah.
Beanie Siegel, like what was that? Like I said that verse on the sandpaper. when
I saw
heard
this.
it.
I thought this would come up. I saw this in the chat. You know, he got shot, right? Like,
Oh, no.
got like a damaged lung. Yeah.
Do you know what? Wait, I'm not even gonna hate because I actually really like the verse as well. I feel like aesthetically it works perfectly for the song.
It's actually
I was just confused.
Yeah,
I was very
know what you mean.
confused.
Yeah, because I hadn't heard a Beanie. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I've heard a Beanie verse since he was on
In
that
20
Pusha T
years.
album.
So-
No.
I'm glad you're saying it because I didn't want to be the guy to say it, but you guys to tell me.
had that
Oh, what do you
feature
mean?
He had the feature on Pusha T's album. Was it Darkest Before Dawn or whatever? Which was a good feature. I think I've got the name wrong, but yeah, Pusha T's second album, basically, the one in 2015. But also I feel like although his voice was so strained and let's face it, it's not a good vocal performance. It was kind of fitting because thinking about what Conway went through and what he's been through as well, it was kind of like the perfect feature to kick the album off, I guess, or the perfect artist to sort of collab with. But yeah, his voice sounds fucked.
It feels like this wisdom from an older rapper, like someone that's been through a lot of what Conway's been through. And I'm just gonna give you a piece of advice to start off the album.
Yeah, it adds to the song for me, actually.
It's nice, yeah.
It makes it more authentic, I guess. Yeah, so shout out Beanie. What about Westside? Last one. What about Westside?
Not really. No.
Like
It was
it's
alright.
good.
It was alright.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's not great.
It's not a standout.
On both albums.
I like him on Benny's more than I like him on Conway's.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I like it. I like his delivery on Conway's one more, but I think I preferred what he's saying on Benny's.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, like I said, I like it when the three of them are together. I just the dynamic works for me. But yeah, he's probably saying a bit more on the Benny one.
I think Sean said it a bit earlier as well, though. Like, I don't know if it's official or unofficial between all of us, but for me, I feel like Westside Gunn, even though he was my break into Griselda, he's actually the third best rapper in the group. Like, it's a tie.
Oh no, there's no debate. There's no debate about that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I actually think he's a better rapper than most people credit him for, though. Like, I think sometimes he's barring. Like, how's he doing all these little intricate rhyme schemes? And
But he's amongst great people, so he's great too. But he's just not the greatest in that group, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, he's better than most rappers.
That's exactly it.
He's better than most rappers out right now. Let's be honest. But I don't know. When he comes up with the rest of them, it's a bit like you're not ever really standing out here.
Let's talk about Griselda's success and their legacy.
Griselda.
I feel like it's more sort of 2017, 2018, I guess, where they really have sort of ascended. But I think the second half of last decade, so like 2015 onwards, they're a real staple in current day, modern day hip hop. Do we think like this sound is gonna continue now for a number of years, or do we think we're kind of coming to the end? What would their impact be?
Griselda is a timeless sound. Let's be honest. So Griselda is apparently, according to that video you sent, hip hop has been around for nearly 60 years, which I'm not really fucking with. I want to say it's been around for about 40 odd years. Let's be honest. If we're talking about actual like music that people listen to now or whatever. But I feel like they're an example of the core element that makes hip hop mixed with the kind of new elements that make it bang. Like I don't know how to describe it. I don't see Griselda going away unless they decide to stop. I just see them getting bigger and bigger, and I think the problem is people expect someone like Benny or Conway or even Westside to reach the same heights as a Jay-Z or a Kanye, but I don't think they're willing to make that type of music that might cross over that far. I cannot see the average person saying anything that Benny the Butcher has ever said because it's not personable. It's real rap, and it's like maybe they'll just be in that same pocket that Earl and Boldy and all those other kind of underground people occupy, where they're the best and everyone knows they're the best, but you would only really know about them if you really liked hip hop, or not even really liked hip hop. If you had even a vague interest in what hip hop is, you're going to be listening to Griselda as long as they release projects.
I think with, like I said, with Griselda, they didn't create this new sound, more propelled it, because it's almost like you have to look at, especially Benny, as like the cusp of mainstream, especially with some of the features he's had in recent years too. But I think Griselda in general are on that kind of border. I think in terms of the sound, like if we look at the kind of history, like the lineage, like first half of the 2000s, street rap was very much a radio thing, right? You have artists like 50 Cent and The Game, and loads of guys in New York who were sort of topping the charts and whatnot. But I guess for hip hop purists and that, they would call that quite cookie cutter, and the music was the authenticity and the kind of content was diluted. Yeah, not saying it's bad music, but I think that was probably what people thought when they listened to people like Ja Rule and some of the sort of, I guess, later 50 stuff. Anyway, I feel like when the second half of that decade came in, we had things like 808s and Cuddy and T-Pain, and Drake was just sort of on the rise at the end of the decade. And there were a lot of lyricists out there that never really broke through because it just it's particularly street lyricists, because it just wasn't the sound anymore. People didn't really want to hear it. And I feel like that sound went dormant until Griselda, if that makes sense. You have to credit people like Rock Marciano, Carr, who else, like Hus Kingpin, Willie the Kid, like these underground names that really kept it going, and especially like, I guess, pioneered the minimalist beats and whatnot, almost drumless stuff, the kind of off-kilter samples and that. But it was really, I guess, Westside Gunn and his vision for Griselda that has, like I say, propelled it to like borderline mainstream level. And now, I mean, whilst it's not, you know, these guys aren't household names and they're not topping charts and that, like I say, they're very much a staple in modern hip hop. And I don't think this sound is going anywhere, and I don't think it's going to go dormant like it did for a decade. I think we've got this now for a good few more years, I'd say. Yeah. Anyone else? I feel like I just took over there.
No, because you. Yeah, exactly.
Sean wears Hermes.
You touched on all the points. I can't see them going anywhere. They're only rising, and the thing is, they're touching into people. Sounds where like more and more people are jumping on. Oh, Griselda, want to hear from Griselda, and because the output is so great as well. That's why that anyone who's like just tapping into Griselda now, there's so much to like delve into that you just want more and more. The output's not going to slow down as well. You know they're coming with more albums. It's just it's only going to get bigger and better for me, and it's just producing more high quality music. I mean, these two projects are just. They're just out unbelievable. They're just getting better. That's the thing. They're only going up. It's not like they stayed stagnant. They're going up.
I think it helps as well that they're not young. They're fairly old, not old as in like, you know, 40s and whatever, but they're mature rappers. So their perspective on things and how they'll do things is like, okay, so the game right now is to put out as much music as possible. Right, we're gonna fucking do that, but we're gonna put out music that people want to fucking hear. So that's
do you know what? That's true. It's a weird middle ground where like they're almost like starting in the scene, and like releasing loads because of that, but they're actually older, and it's like it's not a common thing we hear for people to hear that much music from people that age.
Yeah, well, it's like Freddie. They're doing what Freddie Gibbs is doing. They're just getting busy. Do you know what I mean? They had one song that did whatever, or they've all had this moment, and they're like, let's just maximize this moment. I think they're conscious of the fact that moment won't be there forever.
I feel like though, it's like they kind of got that RZA mindset. Like I keep mentioning that because I feel like they're like the modern day Wu-Tang. They all jump on each other's songs. It's like they've got all these collab projects and things like that in the past, but now it's like more solo career stuff. They're in that phase now. But it's like it's definitely like the modern day Wu-Tang in the way that you just like you can't have one without the other at the moment.
Yeah.
There is a more fun question that I want to ask you, but I thought I've just kind of skipped to the last point I wanted to raise, which is what next for them all, because we're already touching on it. But also, I feel, did I read this somewhere or did I hear it, or am I just making it up? I feel like Westside basically said that the last project was his last. Like hit the West Hermes.
He said that was his last project. Yeah.
And it had a last hurrah type feel to it. And then Conway, I'm sure, has said that he wants to do another Lulu with Alchemist, another project with Big Ghost, maybe one other thing, and then he's done. I feel like he said that.
Oh, wow. That's mad.
Why would you? Maybe they're trying to put the focus onto Benny, though, because Benny hasn't had any talk like that.
This is what I'm alluding to. Yeah. I mean,
Benny's about to have a star career.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. I don't think that, personally, I don't think that Westside or Conway are done. I just feel like maybe their output will slow down. And I want to be wrong with what I'm about to say. I get the impression that this album from Conway is his peak. I feel like this is going to go down as his magnum opus. I'm not sure whether we might like critically or, you know, quality wise get something better, but I just think all things considered in terms of this moment, I feel like this is the
debut. That is the thing. Like he pulls everything out in this one.
Yeah. Whereas with and like I said, I feel like we will still get stuff from Westside, even if it's just features. But I personally think we'll get more projects from him. Just again, slower output. Whereas Benny, I feel like, especially with signing to Def Jam, I feel like the ceiling is higher, and we're gonna get what we're getting now from Conway. We're gonna get from Benny.
We're going to get 3 to 5 albums from Benny, I think, on this label.
He's only signed a 1 album deal, you know that.
Swear.
One album.
I didn't know that. Okay.
The way they do their business is incredible.
Like I rate that.
Like what Conway did with the Shady thing, 1 album deal, boom, done. And do you know what the mad thing is as well? Is like when apparently when Benny released Johnny P's Caddy, people started like criticizing, saying, "Oh, he's signed to Def Jam, he's getting J Cole, blah blah blah." That wasn't even on Def Jam.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I heard
It wasn't
that.
even on Def Jam. So imagine the resources he's going to have with them.
This
because
is
I feel like
he's gonna have a
Def Jam.
superstar album, right? Like this
Yeah,
Def
yeah,
Jam
yes.
debut is gonna have the Drake feature. It's like he got that without even being on Def Jam as well. It's crazy, but we're gonna hear some big things. For
Yeah,
sure.
I think Benny, there's something special coming.
Will it
Whether
be
it's
this
like-
year? Do you think?
I doubt it. No, I reckon.
No, it's going to be next
reckon
year.
it's
Building
next
up
year.
to
I
something
reckon
though.
next year.
I think this year, this is my odd prediction, and maybe I don't know if the listeners are that active, but if they got on the Discord, they could be that fucking active. My prediction is that this year we'll get 2 more Benny projects, right? I don't know what they might be, but 2 more Benny projects, and then we'll start seeing the big Benny push.
Yeah,
next
that's what I
year.
think.
2023.
Yeah, I think we'll get 1 or 2 more this year, and then next year will be like Def Jam.
Like some
album.
EPs or something. But he did say though that this is his last independent album. So
Yeah,
I think the features
feel like we
are
might
gonna
get,
go through the roof. That the features we thought that are mad that these lot are already getting, I think we're gonna see a Jay-Z, a Drake that we already know is kind of recorded. You see what I'm trying to say?
Days.
But that's what I'm
my
thinking we're gonna
God.
see
Kanye
this year.
production or something.
You see what I'm trying to say? But
he
all
did
for
say though,
Benny.
because he did say though that because the Drake track leaked, didn't it? And I think he basically said like that it's never going to come out. Like it's been leaked. It's seen it's seen its day, but we might get another one. Do you know? What
I
I
haven't
mean?
heard that.
Yeah,
I
said it on,
leaks.
I'm pissed now.
He said on Bootleg Kev that he doesn't think that track will ever see the light of day. But if he's on Def Jam and like you say with the resources, maybe we'll get another one. We all want to hear it, really. I know we've all got our opinions on Drake, but we all want to hear that. So I think it's an exciting time ahead. But yeah, my sort of fun question was, are Griselda the best crew since TDE?
I want to say they're
TDE?
the first proper crew since the 90s era. Like we haven't seen a crew that actually like realistically is that involved with each other like the whole way through. TDE started off together and then they all went their separate
G-Unit,
ways.
innit?
Well, G-Unit's
G-Unit, though.
G-Unit's different because there's a whole bunch of rubbish.
No,
people in
G-Unit's quite similar to this, I think.
G-Unit
Quite
had
similar.
3 good rappers, yeah. Lloyd Banks, 50 Cent, and some other guy that I forgot.
Oh yeah, what was
Tony
his
Yayo. Tony
Tony
Yayo.
Yayo. Yeah, that's it.
Tony Yayo. that's the one.
But Griselda, they are still, even though they're getting famous, they're not going their own weird separate ways. Maybe someone will have a weird phase where they start growing dreadlocks and all the other shit that happened with TDE and whatever else. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if TDE is the right comparison. I think Kieran hit it on the head earlier. They're like Wu-Tang.
No, I know, but what I mean is that if you look at the consistency of Griselda with the projects they've released, I mean the output is the time span and the output is like way more condensed.
Yeah.
But if you look at that run from like I'd say, sort of the beginning of last decade up until 2016, maybe even like 2017, 2018. The amount of projects that those lot put out, especially like the early days. Remember in like sort of 2011, 2012, you had Section 80, you had Habits and Contradictions,
Control
System,
System.
and it all kind of had its sound, a similar sound-ish. They had their own little thing.
I see where you're going with this, Sean.
Yeah.
Defo.
So they're not. There are many. They're not comparable in many ways, but I still feel like in terms of just the consistency and the output and the quality. Since TDE's kind of slowed down a bit, Griselda's kind of taken their place.
Yeah, okay, you got a
Personally,
point. You got a point there then.
Yeah.
If you're coming from that angle.
Like, what's the biggest crew in hip hop? Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
like ASAP Mob never reached the heights of a TDE or a
No.
Griselda in
ASAP
terms
Mob
of
was such a
quality.
false promise.
Like Pro Era. Do you remember Pro Era as well? Like they never really.
Odd Future disbanded too quick. With what
Yeah.
they
Odd
did.
Future was too. Yeah,
There
too
was no
quick
place
and-
for Odd Future though. Odd Future was a bunch of very good musicians and artists all together.
And then the only
they would have never got anything out of
And
that.
the only other one you could say is Dreamville, but they've kind of slowed down.
Dreamville.
But some of
Dreamville's
the
rubbish.
artists are there have slowed down.
Dreamville
I don't
was
think they
rubbish.
ever really I don't think they ever really reached the height. Well, they didn't. Not really.
They
I don't
didn't.
think.
No, well, some of
they
their
never
artists
reached
don't
the
even-
TDE or.
It's like no, definitely because
Odd
some of their
Future.
artists like Cos, as I heard, he's dropping a project this year, but I haven't heard from him in a minute. I've given up with Jid because that guy should have dropped his project last year, and flipping guy hasn't. Waste
I
of
wouldn't give
flipping
up.
time.
Man. Jid's,
No, I've given up.
J. Cole can only do
You
so
can't- you
much.
can't-
for
you
them.
can't- you
That's what I was
Honestly,
gonna say.
like-
tweet.
They got J. Cole
Can't
carrying
tweet
them, but
last
J. Cole's
year.
too high up now. You can't drag
Yeah.
them from
Yeah,
that.
I was going to
That's
say,
about-
the disparity between J. Cole and the rest is what set, like,
Yeah.
for me separates him. Like, I know Kendrick is the star of TDE, but Schoolboy
The
Q
others
was
are hard,
huge for a
yeah.
while.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
to start out with, Absol was pretty banging. Schoolboy Q
Yeah,
holds
so-
his own. Apart from that
And
album,
J Rock is just my dog.
And even Scissor's massive.
SZA,
Isaiah Rashad's got his
wow.
own
yeah,
following.
exactly.
anyway, back to
Okay.
where we were, because I'm gonna edit the fuck out of that.
Edit the
Yeah,
fuck
edit,
out
edit
of
that bit.
Kendrick Lamar is bigger than SZA, allegedly. But are we doing scores? Is that what we're getting to?
Jeez.
Favorite tracks and scores, yeah.
Well, I
Who
have a
wants to go first?
conundrum.
Kieran,
Sure. Yeah. What? Both albums. Yeah.
start with
Favorite
your
tracks.
favorite tracks for Conway. Yeah.
Conway's one. Tear gas. Wait. Yeah. Oh. Wait. No. Let me actually scrap that one.
Edit the
Guilty,
fuck out of that.
stress. no edits needed.
I'll do my
Guilty, stress,
monologue.
and so much more. Did you even hear what I
Stress, so much
said?
Nah, say it again. Tear gas.
No, you got me dropping my phone and shit. Guilty, stressed, and so much more.
Who's going next?
I'll go next.
Cool.
Drum work, stressed, and Chanel pearls.
Theo?
Let me check the thing. So mine is definitely guilty, stressed, and God don't make mistakes.
Cool. Well, mine's the same as Kieran's. Guilty, stressed, so much more. But I had God don't make mistakes in brackets.
Same.
Yeah. Okay. And then what about Benny? Favorite tracks? Kieran?
10 More Commandments. Oh man, wait. I don't look. Johnny P's Caddy I didn't put on because it was a pre-release.
Okay.
Yeah, so 10 More Commandments, Zoe's Revenge. Oh, I'm gassed thinking about that, you know. Yo, that song is mad. And Mr. Chow Hall. Oh wait, no, sorry. But no, sorry, scrap that list. Let me start that again. 10 More
I'll do my
Commandments.
monologue.
10 More
That's
Commandments, Zoe's Revenge. Buster.
That's the Brick Nick. I'll
Yeah,
finish
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't keep a straight face. My
That's
ratings are high, you know.
Just hold that in. We're getting there. We're getting there.
We're
there.
getting it. Sam, what you got?
For Benny, Back 2X or Back, whatever the fuck it's called, Super Plug, and 10 More Commandments.
Theo?
Mine's Back 2 Times, Zoe's Revenge, and 10 More Commandments.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, Foey's Revenge. I got Bust a Brick Nick and Super Plug.
Super Plug's so hard. I love that
Yeah,
tune.
super.
Scores.
Uncle
Scores on
Al.
the door.
Scores,
What album
please.
first?
Yeah, go for it.
Conway.
8.8.
Ooh.
I'll put that in now. Stood up to say it as well.
Thea.
Yeah, so for Conway's, damn, 8.5.
Big numbers. Big numbers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Sam?
I'm sitting at a healthy 8.7 for Mr. Conway.
Me too. 8.7.
Whoa.
I was the low one.
Theo, man. I swear,
Maybe I
I feel like
could've
you
guessed it.
probably notched that down a little for no reason.
shit.
Yeah, to be fair, I might have not shut down.
I'm telling you, the gas is real for these albums, man.
Me
I
and
don't
Sean
know why
were
you did
bang
that.
on the money
I,
with
tr-
the
I, tr- I,
8.7.
tr- I tried not to gas it because I thought I didn't think.
Oh, the
no, it's
gas is
nice to
real.
no, it's nice to know everybody thought of Conway's that high, man. Because yeah, I thought, oh man, if I go flying in with my, I had to try and level it up. No, but my Benny one is mad though. So
My Benny was disgusting. I'm just gonna be real, man. Like,
what? My Benny one's a bit mad. I can't lie to you.
You've been alluding to this the whole call.
Pardon?
do you want the next one then?
Oh
wait, what's the overall rating for Conway?
8.7 or 8.675, something close to that. So me and Sean were kind of on the money with that. Theo's predictions are off now.
Yeah, cool.
Did you make your score less on purpose? Like, did you bring your score
down?
down?
No.
I know you did. I know you did.
Yeah, I dumbed it down. I can't lie to you. Because I would have rated it.
Lupe style.
I don't know, because I was trying to not let my personal thing go to. Yeah, what my actual score would have been.
Yeah.
It would have been like an 8.8 or something, man.
This is what I'm saying.
Well, what is it then? Are we going with the first one?
No, just give it. No. If you go with the second one, man. I'm giving it 8.8 because I fucking love it.
God, that bumps it up.
Man,
I think
is that
overall
8.5 about? Like, what's that?
8.5 sounds hella low. I can't lie.
That's
it's
dead, man.
8.8 makes us all equal out to about 8.7 again. Still 8.8. 8.75. 8.75, which is 8.8.
Do we round up or down?
Up. We always round up.
Okay, don't know.
But this is the first time we've had scores so close, and basically we're split half and half, having the same.
It's very high scores as well. Like I'm shocked that they're so close.
I'm not that shocked.
Right.
I was scared that you guys were going to rate this low and then rate this like.
Do you know what? At first, I was trying to say this was like 7.9. I ain't gonna lie to you. My first listen of this album, it wasn't hitting. It wasn't hitting heavy. But then it's like Theo said. When I heard Stressed, and it was like connecting like that.
Okay.
Score went way up.
So it's time now.
Tana Talk 9.1.
Whoa.
Boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom,
curing this on my talking, man. Jeez.
Tana Talk.
Trust me. Mine's a 9. But let's bump it up to
Tana Talk. That Tana Talk.
Woo! This album.
I'm telling you, man. Benny did it.
He finessed this album. Like,
this is Benny's thing.
Sean looks so confused.
All right. Okay. Sam, what you got?
I'm coming in at a solid 8, yeah. And I feel like it's because I actually listened to this and I was like, this is good. And it came up from a lot. I had it in the 7 range before, but I'm coming in at a nice round 8. I could push it up a couple more points.
At least it's gone up.
I might change it in the future. I might do a Sean and change it in the future. But for now, 8.
My reviews my scores are like Kanye West albums. They just, they adapt over time.
The life of Sean.
I've got mine's an 8.4. 8.4. Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like we need to explain these ones a little bit before.
I'm
explaining.
Excellent.
I think you need to explain. I think you guys need to explain.
How the hell have you got Conway?
To explain?
And you know I fuck with Conway. How the hell have you got Conway higher than Benny?
Because I liked it more.
We've explained it throughout. We've explained it throughout. I mean, for me, as I said a couple times, I feel like Conway's album is more extensive. I think it delves deeper on a introspective and vulnerable in that sense as well. I think with Benny's, like I said, it felt like fan service to me. I feel like whilst it might be it's definitely up there with his best projects to date, he didn't kind of jump to that next level like Conway did. So that's why Benny's is like the highest I can give in the terms of being an 8 out of 10. And then Conway's moves into that 9 bracket because Conway just went that bit further, did that bit more, and gave a more wholesome all-round project than Benny did.
And it's like what we were saying earlier, right? I feel like this might be Conway's peak, but that's not Tana Talk 4 is not Benny's peak, and I have to give him room to grow. I feel like soon, next project Benny drops, Kieran and Theo are going to be dropping to 10. And I don't know if we've had a 10 yet. Have we had a 10?
I'm ready to be gassed.
No,
so we've explained our points. Now let's hear yours. Like what did Benny do more than Conway?
Well, I wouldn't even just 2 albums as such. When like the way how he finessed like the Plugs I Met 2, and I rated that an 8.6, man. And This was just. This was just
Theo's
fire.
ratings make sense, doesn't it? It makes sense of his
honestly,
plugs
because
to
the way Benny is rapping on this, man, he's coming in at just like some different angle. I'm just getting gassed.
It's
throughout
God
the
level
whole-
rapping at this
and the
point.
production.
What's different? What's different?
What do you mean? What's different? What in terms
I
of?
don't know
what-
how
what-
else to ask that. I'm just asking.
Everything's different.
No,
all I'm doing
I
is
think
asking-
No, but
everything's
are
different.
you making it as a comparison between the two when you're saying what's
No.
different?
I'm
I don't
asking you to elaborate on your points. That's all. That's all I'm asking.
I listened. I tell you what, today before, so I listened to Tana Talk 3, I listened to Burn and the Proof, and I listened to obviously Tana Talk 4. The way he's rhyming on here, he's painting pictures so much more clearer, and the flows and the rhyme schemes and the way he's doing it is he's elevated. Because if you listen them back to Tana Talk 3, obviously, yeah, you're getting gas and you can see the potentials there. And obviously, Burden the Proof, he's put his story there and you get more of a picture. I'm sorry, on this one, he is painting pictures so much more that you can close your eyes. You are seeing the imagery that he is painting. He's actually painting a piece of art. So he's elevated throughout the whole trajectory. He's going up and up and up and up and up. So he has elevated to a different level. So this, I'm just like, wow, he's done it again. He's gone up. Yes, is there still more room to grow? Hell yes. But this album just banged in with the way he's riding on the production. The production was just flawless. I mean, it's just this just.
No,
hit me,
Theo,
man.
I
Yeah.
agree. It's like you said, like, I think that's the reason why Johnny P's Caddy's first as well, because it's the track where he shows he's rapping J. Cole level. Like that is a level, isn't it? Like he's top 3 rapper for a reason for 10 years now. So he's rapping this high level the whole way through. But then I feel like even on like Buster Brick Nick, like there's another level. He hits like a notch up there.
Exactly.
And like I haven't even been able to unpack that tune because it's so like dense what he's doing on that. And then even like on Mr. Chow Hall, that delivery on that, I've never heard Benny rap like that before. He sounded a bit like Conway on that one with the emotive aspects. So I think Benny's elevated a lot, and the cohesion between everything between it. Like for me, I've listened to all of like most at least of Conway and Benny's projects. I feel like Conway always does this thing where like there's super high highs and like lower moments as well. Conway he makes messy projects. I don't think they're like cohesive and like the whole way through. Whereas Benny, like he'll be cohesive with it. Every single tune is like off a certain standard, and it just for a whole package. Like I think Benny's got a better discography because of that as well.
That's fair enough. No, you both make good points. Yeah. That's all I was wanting. That's all. I just wanted a bit more. That's all, and we got that. It's all good.
To be fair, right? I might appreciate Tana Talk for much more later in the year. I don't know, but yeah, I feel like my score is valid. Like I feel like I have yet to see something. Well, I don't know. I think I'm going to see better out of Benny, and that's why this score is where it's at right now.
You know, the way I see it, I think Conway's is more emotively impactful. So in the moment, I can understand feeling more impacted by it as well, which I do. Like Stress is my favorite song out of all of both projects. But Benny's one is like, it's the kind of one you put on the project, like just 10 songs or 12 or whatever. And like, you just ride through it. Like it's definitely replayable, and I can already feel the longevity with it because it's just got that cohesive, consistent standard in it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear a T.I. feature. I'm just being real.
I don't hear a T.I. feature because I blocked him. Right?
Lucky you. Sure, what are you saying?
I think the last thing I'll say is just because I'm definitely with you on the rapping side of things. I feel that Benny has like really chewed off not like there was even any fat there in recent years, but really chewed off the fat, so to speak, and refined what he does. And you know, with Tana Talk 4, he's given us, you know, what we know he can do at its highest level so far. But like I said, just that difference with Conway was just he just went that bit further for me. There's just a bit more. I'm not going to mince my words. And like Sam says, I think that Benny can do that with this Def Jam project. I think we can see him go to that next level. But they're both great projects, man. It's been a really strong start to the year. Both of them are in like my top 3 so far this year. So I just look forward to whatever they got going next.
Boom, 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 boom.
Should we say overall ratings? Because I don't think we said.
We did. I did. I said
I think we said it for Conway's, but not Benny.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
we haven't
Well,
got Benny.
Conway, our overall kind of aggregate rating is 8.8, and for Tana Talk, it's 8.7.
Hey, it's your boy Theo, and thanks for listening to the Grey Area Podcast. Now, go over and check the Discord. We got loads of different playlists for you guys to check out. And most importantly of all, we want to hear from our community. So go over and check it out. You might get a free seasoning pack. Peace.